six-pack Lapadat, and we got the man Joey Flexx. Joey Flexx is in the building. And
What's up,
Doug, I
Ryan?
I think I say that every single time you come on.
You got
Since
the
like
best intros.
since like 2016. It's
I know,
been
man.
we were just reminiscing on the old days, 2016. Dude, do you remember one of the first podcasts I had? Maybe it was the first one I had you on. It was you and John Haack.
Oh my God. I remember during that time I did a lot of videos with him. I do remember the Q&A that you had me do for the IPF. That was like
It
a lot.
That was huge. And
But
then
I appreciate those things.
you came on with John Haack. It was you and Haack. I mean, you came on a bunch, but in the initially, man, yeah, those are like wild times, and so much has happened. Almost 10 years has passed, and
Bro, it's
some
been
people,
8 years, man.
which is crazy. You do. We've been almost a decade working alongside each other
It's
in this
so
crazy ass
crazy.
business.
Honestly, Ryan, out of all the people in the sport, like I cherish our relationship so much, and I mean that like as a homie. Like
Thank you, dog.
you've always been positive, you've always supported, you've always see what it is. You've always, if I had something I needed to talk about or you've always just like supported us from the beginning, and I just really really appreciate that. And to be to be on this journey, right? And to see you like, bro, you're on TV now when you commentate. You know what I
That's
mean?
crazy.
Like, and you're commentating fucking Sheffield, right? And my lifters are there. Like, I could have just, when I think about that, it's like I could have just been some one hit guy, just like hit it with John, and like, now you're coaching at Sheffield, and I'm out of there. But like now you're commentating, and I have like you're commentating literally my lifters,
Yeah.
like when I'm at those big meets, and just for us to have that sort of bond and relationship traveling the world, you playing your part, me playing my part. I mean, that's what it's all about. When I'm fucking old and decrepit, right? I'm gonna remember, it's all about the relationships that you build along the way, and you're one of those guys that's always been solid. You've always worked hard and really, like, it's truly your passion. Like, it's truly your passion, because if you were not passionate about this, you wouldn't be doing it. You don't even need to do it. It's like you don't, you know what I'm saying? It's just your passion for the sport and how involved you are. And I love it, man. And I just want to say I really appreciate that.
Dog, I appreciate you in 10, damn near 10 years.
I
Holy
know, I
smokes,
know.
man. Well,
Russ was
and
telling me, go ahead.
who would have thought that we would be looking at each other right now, like damn near 10 years later? We're still here, kid. And
Yeah,
how
man.
much we've seen change, how many athletes have come and gone, coaches come and gone, how many different, we're talking about different podcasts, clothing brands, ups, downs,
Yeah.
methodologies of training. This is
Yeah.
out, that's out. Different political things have happened within federations and all the
Crazy.
different, oh my God, this could be the end. No, it's never the end, but it just keeps getting bigger. How much we've seen, man.
Man, I think it's just like, I think the passionate people behind the scenes and some of them in the front, right? They have a vision. They have like a goal, and like, we want to get the sport to this place. And there's like almost this tornado of like all these different types of things that are happening. Life is happening. Some people, have different ideas of where things should go. And I mean, I remember when the split happened, there was a very like it was a very like there was like despair, like sadness, like uncertainty. There's uncertainty. The especially when, I mean, I had a whole like roster of lifters that made worlds, and like we didn't know what was going to happen, and we just like kept trying to find a way. Thankfully, USVI was able to help us out, and like the things that we had to do that, and then to come back over, it was just, you know,
Crazy.
it was just absolutely insane. And I'm just thankful that I think they're moving in the right direction. I think things are starting to work out. I think people are starting to get it, and I was telling people, like, I feel like things are just warming up. I do have a sense of like what is there left to prove, but I also have a sense of, man, I really want these lifters, this class that I have now, to experience, a Sheffield, to experience a Worlds, to be able to do those things. Actually, today, this day, 3 years ago exactly, was the very first training day that Callie had with me. And the reason why I bring that up, because Callie is an example of the young, ambitious junior lifter that wants to make it in the sport. He comes in, he works hard, and then in like 2.5 years, maybe a little less than that, he's able to, we weren't the strongest lifter, right? Just like supposedly Haack wasn't the strongest lifter when we beat Gibbs, right? But you come in, you do everything you got to do, and you give yourself a chance. You might become a world champion. You might make it to Sheffield. And it's just like he completed the mission. Like he completed the. I remember you vague like saying this a few times. He was like just getting strong enough to overcome each challenge of all the meets that he had. So like he would do like a nationals, and then he would do like a different meet, and then he had to beat out this guy to get the world spot, and then he would just beat him out, and then he just beat out Taylor. Like it was, you know, man, it's just looking at that journey and looking at, you know, the him being able to experience all those things, and now like taking, so this year for my world's people, like Jesus is a vet, even though he's only been with me like 5 years almost, but like he's already done everything, right? He's literally won
Mm.
Sheffield. Amanda, the OG tank, right? We got Russ, and I'm excited for Russ now to experience Sheffield. Obviously, we have to handle business at Worlds, but now Crannon, she's like new, right? She's coming in and she's like, oh shit, this is a national meet. This is pressure. And now she's going to experience that international travel, all that. So that for me, being able to take people on that journey, um, even like bringing the Flexx coaches with me, be like, hey, big body, you want to be in the back with me at Sheffield? And he's like, you know what I mean? I'm like, let's do this, So that being able to do that, it's all about experiencing life with those that you care about, and then of course, competing at these high levels. That's what fires me up. That's what gets me excited. Seeing things happen that have never been done. The thought. Okay, let's use Cali as an example. The thought of Cali possibly, like, we knew that Taylor was like, if he goes 9 for 9, we're not winning, right? But shit happens, and in powerlifting, it's not that common that that happens.
Hmm.
So the fact, when there was a time once we got into deadlift, and I was like, holy fucking shit, boys, we might be able to do this. And then he missed the deadlift, and I was like, yo, it's just, it's so exciting. And like, even though Jesus didn't get that third pull, the fact that it was loaded,
Yeah.
and the fact that it was within the realm of possibility, because in the gym he only hit 3 keys less. Like, on paper, you're like, bro, he could do this. It's just those moments where you're like, man. And I did a video yesterday, and I'm gonna just talk forever, so I'll shut up after this. I was talking about Agatha, because what she did, okay, what Evie did the first Sheffield, nuts. That was crazy. I didn't even see that coming, right? Nobody saw that coming. And then next year, Agatha does what she did, and
Yeah.
she's going against two goats, right? And I'm just like, what is gonna what is gonna happen at the next one? Is some crazy, you know what I mean? Like, I know what we're planning, but it's just, it brings out a level of excitement and just a new possibility, new potential, whatever you thought was possible. All right, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but we got girls in the 52s, right? Tina's weight class. They're hitting 450s now, right? 450 kgs now. Shit, we might see a 500 one day.
For
I don't
sure.
even I don't even know. Like, that's so out of here, right? And it's just exciting. I'm really happy that the sport, someone who's been here over a decade now, just, I remember the early days how powerlifting was like this like random obscure. I'd be in a 24-hour fitness at and I live in LA, so I'm at 24-hour fitness, 5 o'clock, it's popping, and I'm over there squatting 500 pounds, and people are like, "What are you doing? Why are you going so heavy? What's that? Are you a weightlifter?" And I'm like, and now there's people doing powerlifting all the time. You go to 24-hour fitness, LA Fitness. We got this new nice one over here. You walk in, they got these platforms, and people are deadlifting, people are doing squats, people are wearing SBDs. Like, it's really, and there's a lot more girls in strength now. Like 10 years ago, you go to a gym, there's like no girls, there's like a couple girls in the gym, they're all doing cardio. You know what I mean? You go
Yeah.
in now, they're lifting heavy. So it's like, it's 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 crazy, man. It's crazy.
Let me ask you about the Flex Squad at PA Nats. Updates. First off, their experiences there. We'll talk about Crannon, Russ. Then
Mhm.
updates on what we can anticipate for Worlds, as well as possibly Cayco. Look,
Yeah.
it's
I gotta talk about
heartbreaking.
that.
Yeah,
I
if
gotta
you've
talk about
talked to
that.
Cayco, this is
I got some
difficult.
stuff. I got some.
Okay,
I know. Fuck,
this
man.
is
You know
difficult,
what
man.
sucks? You know what sucks? Oh my god. Cayco, of all my lifters, obviously people love Russ. Obviously, I think Cali's super fucking popular, right? Like people just love the kid, right? Obviously people love Big Jesus, right? I got a couple other names I could drop, but Cayco is one of those guys. He's just so fucking genuine. He's a good dude. I mean, we used to play video games together back in the day. Like he is just such a chill, happy guy that just wants to train. He's just a genuine guy. He's the best like for PR, like if I travel and like he wants to meet people, like shake hands, like I love it because especially the Asian community, like Keiko's like that guy. You know what I mean? His following, just seeing him, bro, his following went crazy. And all
Yeah,
he did was he was just a lifter in the IPF and he was a good guy. He didn't
yeah,
sell out. He didn't do anything crazy. He never, tried to clout this and that. Just he's just enjoying the sport and being a good competitor and he deserves all the blessings that he's gotten. Um I'll talk about Keiko, then I'll go through the rest of the roster. So Keiko, okay, and I don't know how much of this is like some of this you guys might be hearing for the first time. Some of this, um, I don't know if he said it. He doesn't really talk like that kind of stuff. I think maybe in the future it might be good to like have him on just like an update, see where he's at. But John powerlifting has been his life since we started in 2017. Um, and since then we went hard. We hyper focused everything that we could towards him becoming the best lifter, excuse me, that he could be. And I remember 2017, I think he got like top four. 2018, he got like top four. And then 2019, he won by like a good margin, right? And then 2020 happened. That was when our nationals was in October. 2020 happened, and that really sucked because he earned that world spot, and that's something we had been going for 3 years, and now we didn't get that. 2 years, 3 years, we didn't get that, so that sucked. So then after 2020, we come back, he wins again, and then the split happens, and we don't know if he's gonna make it. And this is just like, bro, to have to go through that. Imagine your dream of becoming a world champion, right? You earn it twice, okay, and then something happens twice. We were able to figure something out with USVI. We got him on, and he was able to handle business that way. Um, and then so that was I believe 2021 Worlds, and then
yep.
2022 we had USAPL Nationals at the exact same time as Worlds. I wasn't there. Chance pulls for the win. I'm like losing my mind. I got to do prime time right then. Like I'm on the laptop, right? I think Pete had his laptop open. I'm on the laptop. I'm looking at updates. I'm like, I got guys in the back warming people up, but I'm trying to pay attention to what's happening. It was just so bad, and I said I'll never feel this feeling again. Thankfully, 2023 was able to go there, handle business. Now 2023, he hits Worlds. Granted, he's been through hell, man. He's been through hell. He hits Worlds. They change the schedule up, and then we get out of Worlds. We're kind of banged up, and now we got to get ready for Sheffield. And I told him, we go through this whole thing. I change his training completely. I give him a more consolidated training block. We're only training 3 days a week now. I make all these changes. I gotta preserve his mind because he's burnt the fuck out right now, right? So excuse my profanity. So I
No
said,
worries.
okay, I'm really trying to put myself in his shoes, be like, how can I help him get to this Sheffield, right? We change the training. We do what we need to do. We get over the injuries. He competes at Sheffield. I told him I need him to gain weight. He competes at Sheffield. He ends up getting second at Sheffield to Big Jesus. I can't be mad at that, man. Honestly, that was like crazy. But now we got to get ready for Worlds again. So it's like, and and I will say that once we got to that first Sheffield, there was talk of a break. There was talk of I'm burnt. I've checked out. I've done all I need to do. I need a reset button. We need to tend to some nagging things, stuff like that. Me and the powers that be, we got together, you know what I'm saying? And we said, my man, we can make it work. if you want to stop truthfully, and this is not something that you want, let's do it. But you know, if you like talk to your sponsor, see what you got to do. I tell him think about it, give it a week, and then hit me up. So he hits me up. He says, okay, I'll do it. We get ready. We hit up Worlds. He wins Worlds, this last one, and then we're pretty healthy going into Sheffield. Somewhat. I mean, we still have like nagging things, and we're trying to do our best to deal with those things. And then we end up doing Sheffield, and like right when we got to Sheffield, there was a sense of it wasn't like I'm ready, I'm fired up to do this meet. It was I think I'm like done after this. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not the best to be thinking that, but at the end of the day he's just being honest with me and he's telling me, you know, what he's feeling, and we're like right about to go into a meet. The fact that he got second still, banged up with everything that we had going on, I mean, to his credit, that's just his willpower, right? That's just like trudging along. Um and so he hits the, I believe it was a 893 total. Could I have pushed it to 896 in retrospect? I think so on the bench. I think so. That probably would have been the absolute cap.
But
Um,
then Gustav would be like, "Let me push."
yes,
It'll never
exactly.
end. It'll never end.
Exactly. I could keep like saying it any which way and I'll just go insane. So Gustav chips him, ends up winning. Cayco gets second. Incredible achievement to get second at two Sheffields, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I don't even know if that's gonna ever happen ever again. Um, so like he's doing good, right? Getting a couple checks here and there, right? And then we are actually in the van driving to the airport for 3 hours, and we're just talking about it. We're talking about it. We're talking about everything. We're coming up with all these different like ideas or timelines, and I just really got a sense of like he needs to chill, man. He needs to chill, and he actually told me, I don't know how true this is, but he told me, um, you know, after Peachy hit what he hit. Well, one, it sucks that like the timing was what it was, and like we couldn't like battle. Like it was just dumb, right? Like I mean, it is what it is. Like, what can we do? They're not like maybe with another 5 weeks of training, Cayco puts another, you know, 2.5 on each lift. I don't know. Um, so you know what I mean? Like, it was just dumb that they didn't get to go head up, and I think that would have been a little bit more exciting. Um, and then Keiko, after Pichu hits what he hits, he goes, to be honest, like I don't know if I'm pretty sure I might have like turned it down anyway because I just need that break. Um, so we're in off season mode right now. He's like just working on like fixing things and really just like keeping the body like low, no pain, just moving well, staying healthy, not really focusing on pushing weights. And I told him, what do we March in like 2 months? That's when we'll see what's going on with Worlds. We'll see what's going on with Sheffield, and we need to, you know, at least at the bare minimum, get ready for the next nationals. But there was also talk of him just being done. There was also brief talks of him just being completely done. Like he's just, you know, it's all good now. There's not really much left to prove. Um, but we'll see. I do think that again that he needs this break. I mean, look at the timeline of a lifter's life, right? Like he's been doing it for he's been with me for like 7 years. But like what about the couple years that before that, right? The year or two before that. It's like almost a decade of your life you dedicate to this one thing. Your life becomes so lasered on that. And I mean, what did Moreno just say? I don't know if you saw what he just said. He said, you know, are you going to pursue the title? And he said, I will one day, but right now I need a break. And I understand that. Fighting's different. You need to rest the brain, right? But lifting is tough too, and it can be monotonous. And you know, Keiko is probably one of the most loved people in all the sport. And to understand that like he's getting older and he needs to spend time with family, while they're still here, I mean, you got to respect that. And if he says, you know, Joey, I wanna live out, you know, my I don't know, one of my family members like a couple years of their life. I totally respect that. And you know, if obviously like he's been made a huge impact on the sport, he has achieved things in the sport that people could only hope to achieve. He's got a lot of opportunities. He's gotten to travel the world. I think seeing him in South Africa with Nina, getting to see an elephant was like a really good moment for me. And just seeing him travel and go to Paris and do all these things through his pursuit of his passion. I mean, that is why I do what I do. Like that is it. Like you are gonna go through life doing something you enjoy, and you can experience something that is gonna give you memories forever. And like what more, like after your body no longer is able to perform at its best, you're gonna have those experiences, those memories, and all those things. So like I said, whatever he wants to do, I support him. He has done a lot. He's done enough, and I think he'll go down as one of the greatest 93s, one of the most prominent 93s, and one of the best runs that we've ever seen. And um, in terms of him coming back, we have a plan. In terms of when that's going to be, and if that is the route to take, I mean, it's entirely up to him. I think he wants to come back. I just think that we need this break right now, and I want him to hit something crazy in the gym before we even think about coming back to the platform. So, which opens up the door for a lot of other 93s. USA is very talented. We got, honestly, the 93s. I couldn't tell you who's gonna win. We got Gustav looked great. If that Gustav shows up in Lithuania, that is a tough guy to beat because that deadlift was easy.
Here's the thing.
Right?
Here's the thing. Petrie's a phenom, as well as Emil
Emil
Krasnev
was
from
crazy
Bulgaria.
in the gym. Yeah.
My God, it's
Emil,
crazy. As well,
yes.
I mean, any given day, Sasha from Germany's got a massive deadlift, and who knows if he puts together a
Mhm.
9 for 9 day. Like there's 93s popping out of nowhere, and I don't know if Cayco is in the reserve list yet, but I gotta think he's rather high. If someone pulls out, I gotta think he might get the phone call. Now, whether one he wants the phone call, whether or not he's ready to accept it, that was going to be my follow-up question. Have you guys discussed the possibility of
I
going in as a reserve?
well, Delaney hit me up yesterday, so I know Delaney's on the reserve.
Oh, hell yeah.
I gotta hit up Keiko and say what's up with that. I think he's gonna deny it, but I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Um, just because the way where our mindset is right now, and we would have been like training already. So I don't know. I'm not really too sure. But like I said, man, I think he deserves a break. If anything, if he wants to call it, bro, that career, no one's gonna like that. That's gonna be a hard career to beat. I only got like a handful of people that could even come close to what that guy was able to do.
Oh,
So
he's by far the most decorated 93 we've ever had. He's
yes,
multiple time world champion. The fact that now in hindsight, him losing the title in 2022 and coming back in 2023 and winning it in the most dominant form he has, he's never actually won it on his second, and his third is a throwaway he doesn't need, and he hit it anyways. Like that was a massive comeback for him, and a nice pinnacle performance, and it actually helped his legacy, right? It showed, like,
yeah,
because Cayco's, it's like a movie. And yeah, his resume is phenomenal. 2 Sheffield appearances,
yeah,
multiple time
man.
world champion, world record. It's
He's
all the
never not
battles.
got he's never not gone to Sheffield and been on, like, if he goes to Sheffield, he's on the podium.
Yeah, and within 2 kilos of winning it all, like he's a phenomenal. And he's another thing. If we could talk about development of him as a man, I remember when I first reached out to him, 2019. I was like, I'd like to have you on the podcast. He was so brand new to everything,
Yeah.
and he was telling me, "Do you think I could come on with Joey?" And I was like, "I think you could, but I would like you to come on and talk to you and get your background story, and we go into it." And he
Mhm.
was like, "Yeah, but," and I could tell he's nervous, right? This is
Yeah.
why. And he's giving me reasons like it's just, me and Joey vibe well, and he was along with my powerlifting journey. And I'm like, we could do this, but I'm like, because I want to find out his background story, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
fast forward how nervous he was with, like, social media, everything, and I get it. Like it goes worldwide and everyone, whatever. Now you take that, Jonathan, fast forward to his interview at KOTL after Sheffield, when he literally talked about friends being shot and killed, family members suicide, takes his glasses off, grabs
You talking
his
about the
it
first
right
one? You
here,
talking
and
about the
started
first one?
the first Sheffield
Yeah.
when he came on, and he was like literally. in tears on the podcast, and he went deep, and he's like, "I'm gonna do this," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "As a matter of fact, when we were done filming, he hit me up and he goes, "I want to add more to that story. I want to jump back on." And before it dropped, he's like, "I forgot to tell you about the note that my aunt left," and it was crazy how open, transparent, and brave he was opening up from a guy who was nervous to be like, shit, I should bring my coach on. And I'm like, I knew he'd say that because he's nervous. I'm like, you can bring Joe. Yes, we've done that before with other athletes, but I still want to get your background story, sir. And then from that to like needing, wanting your coach to be with you for like whatever, to a few years later, he's so comfortable in his own skin, he will open up, bare it all, and just be like, I have no secrets. Let me tell you the struggles. And the amount of feedback I got when he opened up like that, to this day, that's one of those podcasts people never forgot and still bring it up. Because when he started crying, he took off his glasses and went like this. I didn't say a word, and we stayed in that moment. And there was, for the first time on a powerlifting podcast, a pause of no talking in just the moment. In that pause, we lived in for, and everybody still brings it up when I see him and I talk about Cayco and like, damn, man. I'm like, yeah. And so, yeah, how can you not love the guy? How can you not? We saw him grow up.
I
It's
think a lot of lifters, they hold things with them when they lift. And a lot of lifters can be great lifters because they use that to push them through those tough times. Um, I mean, I'll tell you, for me, there were times when, like in the early days, I mean, I was by myself and like I had like this many people and like this much demand, and it was like, I mean, I'm set. I can't. How can I help those people? But then once I had Coach Will and Coach and Big Mikey start working for me, it was like it lit like a. How the fuck am I gonna be complacent when I'm trying to help these guys? You know what I mean? It just lit like a. Maybe one day when I have a kid, that will just restart. Like you're just like. I mean, I have that with me always now, but it's like you think about, yo, this helps my, like I gotta go hard for my family. I gotta go hard. I gotta give Jesus 150,000% because I know if this man wins Sheffield, that's gonna help his, that might, for all I know, that could help someone in his family that needs help with the medical bill or something. You know what I mean?
right.
Like shit like that. You never know what you're fighting for, and for John to be able to channel that and lift, you're lifting. We're putting everything into this at those high pinnacle moments. It gets emotional, right? And I think what's unique about John is that he's very he's relatable in that sense because we all got shit, right? He's just choosing to use his platform to share it with people to create a connection and be relatable. Um, and I think it makes people want to root for you because they know that you're going through some shit and you're still showing up and you're still doing it. And there's
Yeah.
going to be little Johnny out there that's going to be like, wow, like I look up to Cayco, and look what he's able to do. Like I got to keep pushing. So it's real. It's fucking real. There ain't no fake shit about it. You know what I mean? It's literally what it comes down to. So, um,
If he
John's the
doesn't,
best.
if he doesn't, if he doesn't come back, and I hope he does, but if he decides, you know what? I think I've said all we need to say. He has left us. I can speak for myself. I told him this at Sheffield, actually. He told me, we briefly talked before he left the banquet, and he said, a lot of what you were saying. He doesn't know which lily pad he's going to land on, but one of the lily pads that he's throwing out there is he might not come back. He's. And I said to him, whatever happens, my man, if I live to be 100, I will never forget you. And from calling the
Real.
action on the platform to our moments on the podcast when he opened up to me, like I haven't had friends and family open up to me like that. And knowing that's going to get distributed throughout the entire world, I will never forget that guy. And he's impacted me and left his impression on me. And there's no way, if you were a fan during the Cayco era, he didn't do the same to you. And he is, however big powerlifting is going to be, and we could talk about this after we're done talking about all your team. Let's stay on your team for now, but I do think powerlifting is on the rise with all the CBS deals, Eurosport, Sheffield. It's just getting bigger, bigger, bigger. He was the bridge between the old school to what's going on now. He's
Yeah.
one of the bridges, one of them, anyways. And I think he helped that bridge for new fans coming in the new fans that came in over that bridge, he was a major piece of holy shit. When he was on a podcast and opened up like that, it was like if you were at all interested and you're like, make me care about a Worlds, you listen to that podcast and then you watch Worlds, you're like, please, I'm rooting for that guy. Or,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'll miss the
It
shit out of him. Hopefully he comes back.
yeah, I mean I had some of my juniors that are doing worlds, they're like, it's not the same without him, man. They look up to him, right? All right, so
Let's
looking
talk
at the
about
roster.
Delaney for a sec because
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned it. Dog, here's
So
another dude that over the last 2 years I've grown super close to.
Delaney has done everything right.
Yeah.
Delaney held it down while Russ wasn't there for the team. He was able to hit up Sheffield twice, become a world champion twice. He was able to get on the podium at Sheffield when I was asking if people had any statistics of like where they ranked Delaney coming in or where he would place. I don't think anybody had him at third. So I was very, very happy that we were able to do that. Um, of all the podium spots that have ever existed in Sheffield, there's 6 of them. I'm very thankful that the team was able to secure 4. Um, and it's just like Delaney had again another guy. We were talking about Cali, but Delaney has completed. I remember with Cayco, with Cali, with Delaney, with all these guys. I remember when they couldn't make prime time, or they couldn't. They had no Worlds was not even something they're thinking about. Right? They're just like in the mix, and then to keep working at it, to break through, and then to go to Worlds, and then go beyond. He completed the mission, right? He
Yeah.
completed the mission.
Twice.
So twice. So people gotta give that man credit. He's healthy now. We're training. We're training as if something's coming up, but right now we're just kind of waiting to see like is his total at Worlds gonna be good enough to possibly get him as a wild card? Are we gonna need to do another meet to kind of be like, yo, look, we're in the 850s now. Um and I think we can get him in the 850s, right? Him in the 850s, Russ right there, 860, 870. I think Russ is capable if we tighten some things up, and we'll talk about him in a minute, of beyond, but like we're working on those things, and it's just a matter of getting everybody on board to do all the things that they need to do to max all the variables out. Because we've seen, especially on the women's side, when you have like an Evie, when you have like an Agatha, and they're willing to do that extreme, they get a very extreme result. Um, like super shredded, you make the weight cut, you keep the strength, and you win the class. So yeah, Delaney, like I said, he did everything right. So we had a bunch of people like Jesus, Amanda, basically all my lifters that did Sheffield, they don't need to do nationals because they already did it, and I don't want them to have to compete again. It was like 4 weeks or whatever, 5 weeks or whatever. So Delaney didn't do nationals. Jesus didn't have to do nationals, although he was there helping in the back. Amanda didn't have to do nationals. Her position is on lock. Russ had to do it because he wanted to earn it. Um, we had Mikey in the mix, Big Dev in the mix. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got on Delaney. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say.
Yeah, so you already confirmed he threw in his hat in the ring for the reserve spot. I think that's amazing. He's got it because you
Yeah.
never know. Every year, somebody of going to Worlds is going to get injured, and a spot will open up. I've said it before. Bears repeating. LS McLean twice was a reserve, twice made the national team, went to Worlds, twice won the world championship. That's a fact. Back-to-back world champion wasn't on the team. He
Alternate,
was a
yeah.
reserve. Yeah. So I tell everybody who listens, my friend, hop on that freaking reserve list. Let's go. So, anyways, 100%, I think he should. He held it down, back to back world champion, back to back Sheffield, and he just broke the world record. Now Russ is back, but if anybody can push Russ, if Delaney can get into 850 and Russ is 860, my God, we're within 10 kilos of each other. That's a battle. That's
There's
entertaining. Let's
there's
watch it
an
happen.
there's another 83 who's pretty good, who you guys are showing me. I forget the name. I
Yeah,
think I think
from Britain
I
at
think it's
a
Britain.
yeah. Uh,
I don't remember
who
the name,
he
but
pulled for eight 40 at Arnold UK. Missed his last deadlift on an up down. However, so we ended up with 825, but it was an up down. He locked it out, got it. He was
I'm not
physical
sure
state
his
40.
yeah, I'm not sure like what his other lifts were like, but I do remember him having some in the tank. And if he has like a perfect day, he might be good for like an 850. So it's gonna be close. And honestly, if like I said, Russ could do more than 860, but I don't like that. It's too close right now. We gotta get that up, and he has it in him. He's done it. It's just some things we need to tighten up when it comes to being perfect with the weight cut and the reconstitution and executing on the platform. He was very rusty. I mean, I could feel it. The energy, the last meet we did, he was like chill, he was relaxed, he was very like in the moment. This meet, he was a little bit more tense, a little bit more like, oh shit, like I'm doing a meet now. Like it's been a long time. So we got that out the way, and at Worlds, hopefully we could refine it, lock things in, and we'll be good to go. So shout out to Big Delaney. Super proud of him, man. The guy he's actually very, very smart, and he's very he held it down, man. I'm so happy that he was able to slide in there to the 83s. I remember the conversation in 2022 where we weren't sure what route he was going to go, and for him to be able to do all those things, um, again, he completed the mission. So going into the roster, obviously,
One quick question, if we
yes,
stay on Delaney for 1 sec. Um, if he doesn't get the world team slot as an alternate slash reserve, is he targeting another international to go for some kind of a statement? Because there's a possibility, put it, although minute, I don't know. But
mhm.
if Russ doesn't have to push his world record and to win, let's say Russ doesn't, and if Delaney wants to force SPD's hand to invite him, he needs to double back, push it further, and say, "Hey, look, I still hold the world record. Russ is the world champ. I'm the
It
world
would
record
be
holder."
it would be NAPF, I believe. So that's kind of like penciled in, but like we're not 100% sure yet.
Okay,
That's
fair enough.
it's right next door. It's like 9 hours away. Flight wise is like an hour. So that would be good for him to do, but we are thinking about that. I just want his base to be like super high, so that way if we do decide to compete, it's like not a problem for us to hit that total.
Right.
Um, so going into the roster, we had a bunch of people compete. I'm just looking at the people here. We had Austin Nikolai who got third, I believe. He's like super young. He works with my brother Chris. He's like, I mean, he's so young. Like, I feel like he's event. Like, if you look at all the other guys in that weight class, I mean, he's next up. So, and he might have like a Austin Perkins type gap where they hit like that certain age as a young man. You hit like 22 to 24 range and you just like boom, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Um so he's coming up for the 66s. Obviously Russ or Vanessa Pineda, coached by Tina, she got second. Um I mean they've been together for like a really long time, and I believe they're doing the Raleigh meet. I'm not sure how you say it.
Raleigh.
That's in July. So that's pretty cool. I'm really happy that they were able to put that meet on. Um Obviously Russ, so I'll talk about Russ a little bit. I had Russ squatting a little bit more, bench was good, and then deadlifting a little bit more. But our weight cut, and if you watch like for those listening on my channel, I like explain everything. But basically the food to fluid ratio after he made weight was like very skewed, and it just should have been like way the other way. Um I also think he was a little bit too light. He actually like lost like physical body weight a little too much.
Mm.
Um, diet. He's really good at losing like dieting. He just locks it in. He does his cardio and he loses weight. He could lose like 12 pounds, 15 pounds, like get in like I don't know 6 weeks. Like he just even maybe 5 weeks. Like he has that background of bodybuilding, so he knows that mode where you're eating, you're eating your meals, like you have your meals like planned already. You're just that's it. That's all you eat. There's no deviation. Maybe you have 1 day a week where you have Chick-fil-A, whatever, and then you're hitting your cardio, you're doing your weight training, and he's just shedding the weight. Um, so it got a little bit light there. But we are gonna have him with the nutritionist this time. I don't know if you know one of the OGs, Alberto Nunez.
Of
The same
course.
guy who does it, the same guy who does it
Delaney.
for Delaney, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Delaney, this last one, I didn't have no complaints. It was the best cut we'd ever done. Delaney came out for squat, and I was like, "Yo, like, did we cut weight? Like, what's going on?" I actually had him sauna a little. I was like, Delaney's like, "Yeah, I never sauna," and I was like, "All right, come to breakfast with me. I'm gonna call Berto. I'm gonna tell him, hey, I'm gonna have him eat some eggs. We'll get some toast, have a little bit more food, and then we'll just sauna a little bit." And it worked great, and he did great. So I think if Russ can lock that part in, man, we're gonna see like super Russ. Like we're gonna see some crazy stuff. Like I was looking at the Korea meet, and I'm just like, bro, he was so strong. Like obviously he was heavier, but and I do think we got to go 93 eventually because there's just some stupid numbers that we could hit. You know what I mean? But for now, we're gonna refine this 83, really hit something nice. Um, at Sheffield, we're going all out. At this Worlds, you know what, we got to play the game, right? But at Sheffield, everything, everything, like it's gonna be, you're gonna have everybody pushing to their absolute maximum, and it's gonna be insane. On squat, going back to Russ, his feet were inconsistent. We fixed that. Depth was weird. I had to overturn a call. We fixed that. We just got to have it. It has to be the same every time. It can't be like inconsistent, right? Bench, we had to change shoes. His heels weren't down. Like all these little things with nerves, right? That happen. Deadlift was pretty straightforward. I just want to get out of there. We just hit the 750, call it. Um, Probably had a little bit more, but it was a good meet. He did the job. We did the thing that we're supposed to do. But at Worlds, it's gonna be a little bit more competitive, and we're gonna have to. It's gonna be weird, man. We're gonna like do 8 lifts, and like hopefully that's the total we need. And then, do we take that last lift?
Well,
Like,
well,
do we
here's
just?
here's let's talk about this for a second. First
Yeah,
off, yeah, he had said openly, and I got Russ coming on the podcast this weekend, but he had said openly, a bit of, weirdly enough, a little bit of nerves, even though he knew he was a far and away favorite for it. With all due
yeah.
respect to the other 83s, he has quite the gap in between, so he could afford to miss lifts, still be okay. But with the cut and everything, and then the lights and everything that's on the line, this particular nationals is the first step to Worlds, Sheffield, World Games so much, and it's been a year. So he had talked about it. We'll go in more depth when he comes on the podcast. But I'm glad that if nutrition is a situation, tighten it up. There's no question it's going to make weight, but make weight with as much strength as possible. And that's the name of the game. And that third squat went his way at World Championships. It might not. If it's 50-50, flip a coin, 50% of the time it goes you, 50% of the
At
time it goes
world,
someone
at
else.
worlds, at worlds, if it's 50-50, you're not getting it.
Maybe not. It depends. But
You're not
you
getting
just
it.
want to be careful. He probably
Yeah.
doesn't need to go 9 for 9 at Worlds. However, so with a guy like Jurens, and it would be, and Jurens is one of the bigger threats. Jurens' subtotal, his squat, his bench. By the time Deads rolls around, you kind of know where he's at. You'll know how to pace. If you pace just above him in squats, and you leave squats a few more kilos ahead, leave bench, you're on subtotal, few kilos ahead. He's not going to surprise you on Deads because he's probably not going to outpull Russ. So you're probably paced ahead. However, the other Brit, and his name is his nickname, so I don't want to butcher his name. I got to get it proper when
Are they
if
both
he makes the
going, or
worlds.
how are they doing
Well,
it?
so let me get to this. So Ade Inevitable Omasakin, and I love the nickname Inevitable for a lifter.
Actually,
When
I
he's
actually
coming
have
down the
the nominations, but I don't think they're like fully done yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going. Let's pull up those nominations. If he goes, he's got a massive
Why
deadlift
wouldn't he go?
because on the selections team, he was overweight, so he wasn't an 83. So he wasn't on, he's not the British champ. He didn't go to Euros. He went to Arnold UK, not Euros.
Wait,
So
so was he an 83 for this Arnold?
he was, but he wasn't at the European Championship representing Britain. He
And
was at
that
the
was the
Arnold
meet.
UK.
That was the meet that mattered for them to
Uh,
qualify. Is that
well,
what you mean?
well, the selections team is, which is even before that, and he missed weight entirely and wasn't in 83. So at that, it was Jurens. So Jurens was the national champ. He's selections. He's the European champ. As a matter of fact, he's the European best lifter. So it's going to be Jurens first. However, Mr. Inevitable might make his way on the team. We'll see. It depends what Britain wants to do. You would have to go over the entire roster. I might reach out to Paul Marsh and ask him.
They
And
haven't they haven't submitted any 83 yet. So I'm not sure how they're gonna do it.
I
They will, but like
if they submit both of them, the 83s are stacked. And we might see another lifter 840 and up because Inevitable has put on so many kilos onto his total in the last 4 months. What he might put on in the next 3 months. And in that situation, Russ has to be careful if he's sandbagging squats to an extent, sandbagging
yeah, it's
bench
weird.
to an extent.
Honestly, like I mean, I'm gonna be in the back. I'll have Matt there and like we'll figure out okay,
Yeah,
how heavy can we go without like screwing ourselves
yeah, that's
for
right.
Sheffield? And we'll do the best that we can with that, but it's just one of those things where like it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, I would care about Russ going to Sheffield more than I would care about, you know, I'm not gonna full send him at this meet, but we're if we have to put a little sauce on it to cap everybody else out,
Yeah,
it would be dumb if we just went like 843 or 843 and a half or whatever, and then somebody does 845 and then we
yeah,
lose. Like we can't do that. So we gotta make sure that we handle business and lock it in. So it's
yeah. If you're gonna hold back, it'll be deads, not squats. Build the base that if you got to pull, the subtotal's already there to stack up on top of. It'll be interesting, man. It'll and then
yeah,
God, man, if
840.
Delaney makes his way,
Yeah, oh my god. 845, 8 for 8 is fine. It should be 850 with the last pull, the second to last pull, and then like we'll load it and then we'll just see what's going on. It's gonna be Ina, right? I mean, Ina's gonna send it, but I'm just
yeah.
gonna call Will, Ina's coach, and be like, Will, what are you guys doing right
What is going on?
now? What are you
And
guys doing right now?
Naharo's an absolute monster with that final pull. He loaded
Yeah.
up at Euros, I think 399 for the win, which is
I
insane.
told them you guys shouldn't have done that meet because you already won, right? You beat Durant, so like just call it there. Like you're good. Now everyone's gonna remember your last performance, but it's all good. Ina's also like I talked to Coach Will and he's like fixing them up and what they did and how they're gonna be better for Worlds. But yeah, man, Ina's coming. I think Ina can be heavier too. Um, and if he could remember to keep that pull nice and even, dude, it's so exciting when it happens. That Ina's pulls are like, yo, like what's gonna happen right now? Ina's the sniper, man. Anybody that reaches for Russ that misses, he's gonna get you.
Yeah, oh
That's what
yeah.
he does. That's what he does.
And the fact that he hits and misses.
Can
At
you?
Worlds against Delaney, he missed, but at Euros, he hit. The other Euros, not the Euros just right
Yeah.
now. So he hits and misses, which makes him more exciting. You never know. He's a gunslinger.
Can you imagine him at Sheffield like just loading up something crazy with that crowd? I feel like he'd pull anything.
It's like Jesus. That's why I didn't mind
Yeah,
Jesus loading up, where it's like, go for it, man. We're at
bro, it's gonna
Sheffield.
be crazy.
You put on a show. Don't go conservative. Put on a show for us. That's why you're here.
I can't. I literally, those are the moments where you feel most alive. Where like you take a shot and you're just like, it's like in a basketball game. It's like 2 seconds in a basketball game, but like you got 5 seconds on the clock. You're down by two. You just throw it up and you're like, oh my god,
It happens. It can
it can
happen
happen.
sometimes. Um,
Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So who else on the roster? Because we got.
Yeah, I'm going through that.
I want
So
to talk about
93's.
Crannon as well,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
got a
yeah.
minute, because that's a hell of a story.
Yeah,
And
we're she's actually next. I just wanted to touch on talked about the 93s. So Crannon. Okay. Crannon, I believe it's pronounced Cranon, but I always
oh,
say
is it
Crannon.
Crannon?
Yeah, I think I always say Crannon. I don't know.
I called her
It's just what I
Crannon
do.
the Cannon, and it
Crannon
doesn't
the
work if it's
Cannon. All right,
Crannon.
it's got to be Crannon the Cannon then.
I know, because it's such a dope name for someone, shoot or
So
shoot, man. But
So she so we actually started prep literally like a little bit in December, but not really till January. She's like one of Gymshark's girls. Like she is their girl. So she's like flying out constantly. She's doing photo shoots. She's doing all these things, meet and greets, events, lifting things, like all this stuff, right? She has also a bunch of sponsors. She is really doing the influencer stuff So she's like everywhere, right? So it's kind of hard to like say, hey, we gotta slow that down, or we gotta find time to get our training in. She's locked in now. She's sending me every training session. Um, but we started prep for this like late, like really, really late. And I told her, I said, if we had started in August, not December, really, really truthfully in January, it's a completely different ball game, right? But she was locked in coming into the meet. There was a lot of uncertainty in the beginning. Her strength came back and we were able to handle business. And it's one of those things where like if I don't have that foresight, she's gonna have like no faith because she's gonna be like, dude, how am I gonna do this? Like I'm so behind. And I knew that she was going against Dana, who pulls a lot. Okay, and you know, we're here now. We started prep when we started prep. All we could do is do the best with what's in front of us. It doesn't really matter what happened in the past, right? So we get her locked in with the protein. I have her taking more steps per day. We get her on a, the regimen.
Did she cut a lot? Did she cut a lot for those
No, she didn't cut
nationals?
it all. She didn't cut
Oh,
it all.
oh wow.
She-
So maybe she can come in a little heavier, cut a little water. Do you think
Yeah,
no?
we
Don't
could
worry
do
about
that.
that.
Um, I want her to just be like recovering well, so I'm fine if she gets a kilo or two over. Like that's pretty chill. But if we have off season, we could like cut down and then bulk back up. But yeah, it's just she didn't cut weight. And when we got to the meet, I'm looking at the subtotals for the girls, and it's Chloe who hit, I believe it was like 548, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was in the morning.
Chloe
So
W.
that's like the bar. Everybody has to beat that, right? I believe that was good enough for second,
It is. She won second.
right? So very good total. And then the other girls, their starting total was 505. Okay. So I'm like, oh shit, like this is close. Like we got to handle business. Coming into her squat, I was I was aggressive because I knew where I wanted to end up, and honestly, this is like the Giga deadlifter effect, where like they have such a big deadlift and you don't know what their top end is. And I think Dana had hit 565 in the gym, that I was like, damn, if she peaks and she does a Hail Mary 578 pounds, we need to be like a little bit ahead of schedule. So I want to get that second attempt closer to where I could take a smaller jump and absolutely get every kilo out of what Crannon was lifting. Um, she hit her opener 435 very, very, very fast, right? So I'm like, cool, 468 next. On the 468, she lost position a little bit. It was a little bit of a big jump, but I knew based on her training, like there's no way she doesn't have at least 474. There's like she has it. So I just told her it's okay. It was a big jump. You know, like you're a little bit warm now. You know what that feels. Bring your stance in a tiny bit, and like you got this. So she does all those things. Boom, she smokes it. Probably had another five. It just is. It is what it is, right? So we hit the 468. They miss a squat, right? I think all the other two girls both miss lifts, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. We're gaining ground. We're gaining ground. On bench, she always trains her bench like super early in the morning, and like it always looks beat up. It just always looks beat up. So the best that I had to go off was a 226 triple. So I'm like, well, that's only like 248, like 242. So I'm setting her up for that. You saw what happened on her second. It was like a little weirdness, right? It was like I hit a wall and then it popped right up. So I was like, okay, I don't know what that was, but I'm not gonna play games with that. We're gonna jump 5 kilos. That's it. Absolutely destroyed the third bench, like a joke. Like I could have done another 7 probably on it. So she hits that. They miss another lift. I'm like, great. So now I'm doing math. I'm like, okay, we hit that second pull. We're gonna force them to have to pull something she like uncomfortable, right? Crannon's deadlift. The more meets we do together, I'm getting more confidence. She's hitting. She's just executing. She's executing. She's executing. So I'm like, great. That gives me a lot of faith. If we need to pull those like razor sharp pulls, she could hit it. Crannon goes 3 for 3 on pulls. Um, I don't even think Dana tried to like full
No,
send it,
she
because
conceded. By the end, it was over.
yeah. So I mean that's how you play the game, and it's just going back. I should have been a little bit more conservative on the squat. Because Crannon, okay, I'm used to like the high pressure shit, right? I just got out of Sheffield. I'm used to fucking going in there and being aggressive. This is her second meet, right? Like second real meet. She had done other meets before, but like this is the first national meet she's done, and I need to take that into consideration and just kind of like, instead of throwing people into the fire, which I might be able to do with one of my more experienced guys, just like ease her into it. But she knows what it is now. And like I said, I know kind of how Matt likes to do attempts, and it's going to be more gradual. It's going to be more um, like 5%, 5%, something like that. It's not going to be like big jump, small jump, or whatever. So it'll be easier, I think, from the execution side for Worlds. We can make progress, and I know. So we hit what 560 on the bench, dude. I'm telling you, if I maxed her out, she probably has like 570. I'm not even joking, especially because of that bench. Maybe 567 and a half. Give me um give me like early next year, bro. If she makes it to Sheffield somehow, I'm telling you, like, she will squat 500 pounds, and she will get into the six. She's gonna be right at that 600, like within the next year. So yes, Carlene is there. Carlene is at the 610. Akita is like a demon and could just do anything. But Crannon is gonna be a fierce competitor, and like she's so new, man. There's so many things that like trust me, like I know I got my veterans, right? Like Amanda, she's in the gym, she's training, da 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 da. And then I have Crannon, like, oh shit, we did 3 months and we hit 560, right? Like, trust me, like I would definitely keep an eye on her. She's on the come up. She has a good training environment now. She communicates with me a lot, and like I'm very confident. If we do go up to like 78 and then do a little cut from there, um, shit, if we do like Jessica used to do, get up to like 80, die down to 78, and then do a water cut from there and a gut cut, there's so many things that we can do. And I'm really excited to just explore that potential with her. And I don't know where her top end is yet. And I think she's going to be, my goal for her at this meet, like is definitely like 100% I want to get her on the podium. I know we can do it. I know it's going to be tough. Um, I don't know where Agatha is going to go. um, I don't know if she's gonna go like I mean you might know better than me, but like she could do anything at this point. She could do I'll look at the
She's going
nomination.
76 for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so if she goes 76, then we're gonna be fighting, for that third place spot, I think, with
Jess.
with Jessica, because Jessica's nominated right now at 567.5. And at the very least, we hit a 575 bro, 575 seems like that's like very reasonable. So if anything, we'll get a good performance out of Jess. If Jess is able to like beat her best, that's great. Like good job. We ended up pushing you to a level that you had to go. Um, but I'm just like letting it like that is where I want her to be at, and I'm confident, like I'm very very confident that we can hit, you know 570, 575. I will actually be shocked if we don't hit 570. At least I will be shocked. I'll be like, what the fuck did we do for 3 months?
It
um
it depends on a couple pieces. Jess has hit 585, so it depends on what Jess
yeah,
shows up, where Jess
yeah,
is at. But if Crannon can get 570s,
yeah,
and here's another thing I like. I like she got tested in squats, came back and hit
and
it.
got it. Yeah,
Get that out the way now. Get tested early, like a young fighter on the ranks on their way up. Get tested, battle tested, get your heart tested, have to rally back. If it happens again at Worlds, now the conversation is different. You've done this before. You don't want to get you're already peaking with anxiety at Worlds. It's going to be,
yeah.
she thought she was nervous at Nationals. Wait till she's on CBS at Worlds and all the world is in the locker room
I
and you
don't
have
remember.
people.
Let me check
Go
if
ahead.
that session's on TV or not.
No, but the highlights will be. So all of them will be. It's just will it be entirely live? That's the question. But it will be on TV.
um
So whether it's
really,
Eurosport or
is that
CBS,
why they're
I know
doing?
Eurosport for sure.
Yeah, because they have all the primetime sessions at Worlds are eight lifters. So we're gonna be speeding through that.
But
that's gonna be interesting.
and if she can get before the year is out, before Sheffield rolls around, if she can log 600, maybe it's a conversation SPD will entertain. You have time, but you got to do good enough at
Bro,
Worlds to force the conversation, then follow up somewhere
Yeah.
with if you can get the 600 before 2024 is out, before the final wild cards are out. There's so many moving pieces that people are going to be looking at different people at Worlds. But her job, try to get the 600 before 2024 is out and have a respectable World showing.
Yeah, I mean, she's already hitting stuff in training that's like a little bit ahead of schedule, and I'm just like, oh shit. So, she's gonna be like, I'm excited to see where her top end ends up settling, and I just think there's a lot of potential that we can get out of her. And then going through the rest of the roster, obviously we had big Mikey Davis who's going against Ashton. We knew that like there's not really a window for us to win that unless we have a perfect day and Ashton makes mistakes. They played it safe. They were able to handle business. And then we had Big Dev try to make things interesting with Bob. Bob is honestly the fact that he's so light
I can't
and
believe it.
that he's able to be that strong. It makes me wonder. I don't know if he would ever want to, but if he wanted to go like a full 120 against Rondell, that'd be very interesting. But if he's that good as a 105, he might as well just go 105s. But
Well,
obviously, like
I,
Ashton's there, so we don't know where Ashton's gonna play out. And yeah,
well, I could tell you, I asked him. White Lights Media had me do some interviews when we were at Nats, and one of them was Bob, and we asked Bob, and Ramsey actually asked the question, and he said he's about 70% he's going to go back to 105. So he'll go 124 Worlds, conceivably collect 12 points. That's what the goal is, anyways. Because what US
yeah,
wants is possible 12 points for gold for Ashton, 12 points for gold for Bob. If they both go 105, 12 points for one of them, 9 for the other if they go 1 and 2. So I know why Team USA's trying to calculate how to get the most
yeah.
points in sweep. That's the goal, anyways. Tony Cliff will be in my DM, so I'm saying that's the goal. I'm not saying that's my predictions, Tony, but but having said that, Sheffield is a whole nother animal where people go up and down and all around. And that's where he said 70% chance he drops back down to 105 because he weighed in at 106. I mean, that's a 105. God, hats off to Bob, who's battling 120s as a 106. He's battling 120s as a 105. It's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean the only do you know what Rondell's like best numbers are?
It's
I can
1045, if I'm not mistaken. Rondell's a
Oh
whole
yeah, I
nother
mean
animal that,
that's a lot. But
yeah, heads up. Heads
I
up. The
mean
guy's a
If Bob
monster.
goes up, he could probably get there. It just if does he want to do that? Does he want to take that path of like heavy resistance as opposed to um if you look at the two weight classes, like where the like super outlier is, like I think Bob as a 105 is probably like just long term. Um that's probably the class for him.
Yeah, and I think him versus Ashton is an intriguing matchup that people would love to see. And Rondell,
Bro, Bob
what
is
he,
only 26. Oh my god. Like he's got
he's
time,
a
man.
monster, dude. He's an extremely special talent. The fact he's a 105 battling 120s. And let me also say for your guys, Big Dev, so happy Devin Williams, Big Dev, came over to Powerlifting America. When he was on the podcast,
Yeah.
I was heavily leaning towards my man, come over, battle Bob. You have a shot. You'll
Yeah.
keep him at the very least. You'll keep Bob honest. Where if he starts missing and you hit and you hit and you hit, and Big Dev, let's also point out if Bob goes 105 like he's indicating he will, Big Dev makes a U.S. team next year. If Big Dev goes to Worlds, he's now a favorite to possibly win. Like he's
Yeah,
right
man.
up in there. He's right there
We
with
gotta keep
Tony and
him
all those
we,
fellas.
we gotta
He's
keep him in the mix.
he
It
might be
look
a Big Dev is a potential future world champion. Got to be in the discussion. He'd be crazy not to hold serve, keep honing his craft, and he might
I
be a
mean
Sheffield himself.
he has to find a window for like or keep getting stronger to get to compete with Rondell.
Oh,
But
that's true. If Rondell comes back
I'm looking at
in time,
Ashton's
which I think he
best.
will.
I'm looking at Ashton's best. If you combine all his best lifts, it's 970. I think Bob's like 880 something. So I mean, it's interesting, man. It's interesting. Like once guys start getting up in their 30s, Ashton's only 27, but once they start getting up in their 30s, like it's weird to see like what's gonna happen next. But
Well, Ash is
overall,
talking about leaving, by the way. Ash is talking
yeah, I know, I
about
know, I know.
exiting, dog.
Do you have him on yet or no?
Ash, no, but this is out there.
Yeah,
And
he told me this like a long time ago. So he told me recently too. So it's like I don't know, I don't know what's gonna
I'll
happen.
I'll have Ash and Bob before Worlds. I mean, I got time. We got plenty of weeks, but I'll ask him. I'm going to give him a little bit of time to marinate on that and think about it, and
Yeah,
then we'll ask Ash, ask Bob, and have these discussions. But yeah, it's 105 is going to be crazy, and Big Dev in the mix at 120s. He'll be right up in the mix. It's
since we're
Rondell,
here,
that monster.
already, what's going on with that Georgian guy who's competing in the supers? What's up with that? What's up with that?
Timur. So Timur, junior world champion, um, phenomenal lifter, and aged into the open, and is now he's getting into the mid, like he's over 1,000 kilos. He's getting deep. I'll pull him up right now. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at the nominations.
he's actually threatening now to get. So his last total was 1063.5. All right. He's 22, by the way. He hasn't aged out. He's just competing in the open because he can. He's
So he
only
has one
22.
more.
But
That's
he
crazy.
missed his third squat. He's at 1063.5. If he got his third squat, you had 15 kilos to 1063.5. Now he's 1088.5. He is right. That's literally like the smallest progressions, and he's at 1100. He's right there at 22, right close to 1100. He for sure is starting to develop into not a threat towards Jesus, but he might get close enough that
Keep
he's
us
like
honest.
exactly. He's like Delaney for Russ, Shell for Perk. When he's there, you can't just eat your food and have fun. No Hail Marys or whatnot because he'll sneak in, and that's good for sports.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit. It's interesting though because I do not like the idea of Jesus having to do 1,050 at Worlds. Um, which automatically is gonna make it like close, which sucks. Like
Dude, this
not
kid, this kid's
like
at
like
10. This dude's at 1,063.5. He might be at 1,080 by
I'm talking
Worlds.
about like 1,050 squat.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of us like having
Load up.
to load up like that. If I look at Jesus's, let me see. Let me just do some calculation real quick. 2540.
While you're doing the calculations, I will say the big man Timur did this at Euros when the pace isn't as fast. He might simmer down at Worlds
Oh,
just
it's
like
gonna
Jesus.
be
Right,
speed.
right.
Yeah,
So both
I
these
thought.
guys might simmer down.
Well, I mean, 1152 for Jesus is like that's chill. Like he if we just do our lifts, we could do that. Now with the speed meet, um if we I still think he could do I still believe he could do that because his 903 is an easy weight for Jesus. It is truly an easy weight. It's just, when we get pushed into like those high crazy numbers, bro, 426 and things like that. Um that's when things get crazy, but I definitely think that, you know, Jesus should be able to just like see if we don't take the 1053, um that's going to be minus like 20. So now we're at 1132. So
You're
I got
safe
to talk
still.
to the boy.
You're safe. Timur's not going over 11 yet, but next
Yeah.
year he will. Next year he'll
Yeah.
be 11 something. This year you're okay.
If he goes over 1110, 50 keys on his total in like 12 weeks, I'm going to be like, brother, what's going on here?
Well,
Something sus about this.
well, I mean he's 22 as well. And
Yeah,
and
but
put the
3 months.
50
Yeah.
50 keys. So look at Shell put 25 keys on his total as a 74. 50 keys for a 120 plus isn't as like statistically percentage wise isn't as crazy because they're like over 1,000
Yeah.
kilos. It's not as crazy as
We gotta lock in this world championship. We need to execute on bench. You know what's crazy though? Jesus, like that 11-13 was like we were like messing up, right? So I'm very confident that with like chill attempts, we'll just go like 556, 580, 600. Just keep it easy, execute.
He'll be all right.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's just it is getting more interesting. It is getting hard. It is getting like I
More
think Amanda's
competitive.
like Amanda's the last one that's just like there's nobody here. But what
I
if Agatha
listen.
comes up?
I pray Amanda has some comp. There's a couple Brits. Earl Love is coming.
Yeah.
She's a junior. She hasn't cracked 600 yet, but she's getting close. She's got a massive dead. There are people on the rise. Amanda will have her team or arrive soon enough. It always happens eventually. It's just there's waves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Amanda wants that 680 though. So we gotta we gotta work.
She probably
Um
needs to be pushed. Like when someone's on your heels, you'll work a little harder because you're like, damn it, they're on our heels.
I mean, ideally, we would have to like be as heavy as possible, have a perfect weight cut, and then just optimize every little microcosmic piece of lifting in order to just bring it home. But yeah, that's pretty much the roster. Shout out to everybody who competed. Shout out to all the helpers that we had in the back. It was really nice to have everybody there. The vibe was good. Everybody was happy. Everybody was handling business. It was a smooth meet. It's nice to have everybody under the same umbrella for the most part. Just a couple guys that are missing here and there, but I can't wait to see like where this is. Um, in a little while, like what's going to happen in a year, 2 years, 3 years. So it was a great experience. And yeah, man, I just want, so for Worlds, who made Worlds? It was Amanda, obviously from Sheffield,
Yep.
Jesus, obviously from Sheffield, Russ at this meet, and then Crannon from this meet. Um, and then a bunch of guys got alternate spots. So Delaney probably got one. Delaney definitely got one because I know he got one. I'm pretty sure Cayco got one. I'm interested to see if Devin got one. Um, but and also like Vanessa for the 52s. But yeah, it was a good event, and I'm really just, I mean, I love this team. I want to say thank you to everybody that like supported us, and Russ is finally back, and I just remember traveling the world all these years without Russ, and people are like, "When's Russ coming?" And I'm like, "Well, he's here now," and things are heating up, things are getting exciting, um, and I really just want these lifters to complete the mission. I want them to go the full distance. I want them to go to Worlds, go to Nationals, experience Sheffield. I cannot bring them to Sheffield every single time, but like when I look at like Cali, for example, I mean, we're not even talking about my international people, right? I got Alba doing the 63s now. Oh, snap. We got, Sonita obviously.
I want to ask you about some of the international people. So
Yeah,
Sunita's yours for everyone listening. First woman to squat over 300 kilos, in contention at the World Championships. Alba from Sweden in the 63s. A junior
Cali.
star.
Yeah.
Cali and Samantha Eugenie. I don't see her in the nominations. What's going on with her?
She had some health problems and she's just kind of gaining her strength back. Like her strength is coming
Oh,
back,
that's right. I
but
seen that. She had
yeah,
major. She was
yeah, she
open
was in the
about it.
hospital.
This is no secret.
Hmm.
She was transparent. She's in the hospital on and off. It looked. She's in there for a hot minute, man. That's right. Thank you for refreshing
Yeah,
my memory.
so she's still coming back from that and she's just like not quite ready yet. I also have some other guys from other countries. Um, Joe, his name is, I think it's Jochen or Jochen. I'm not sure how they say it, from Belgium. Olivier from Belgium, who's actually battling cancer, who came back from that, and we've just been trying to get our feet back under us since then. So shout out to him. I have Natalie Kwan from Singapore, I want to say. Don't beat me up if I got it wrong. I have his name is Xin Mu, Xinmu, from Taiwan. So we got people all over the place. It's just, it's one of those things where at World is different. I'm gonna say this, guys. I don't know if anyone on here has had this experience. But at Sheffield, I have all of them at the same time. So I have my team with me, but it is fucking stressful, right? At Worlds, it's like one at a time, one weight class at a time, maybe two, nothing crazy. It's like so much easier. I'm gonna have help. Like, it's way more like spread out and level. I don't know if we already mentioned I don't know if we already mentioned Cali, but yeah, it's gonna be a busy world. I am excited to see these weight classes continue to get closer and closer, and I want to give a little shout out to a young pup who's coming up, Joe Bornstein, because I know his tactics. I know what he's gonna try to do because we talked about it.
What's he
And
doing?
I mean, he's gonna do the junior route, and he's gonna have a very compelling total in Malta and say, "Hey, SPD, what's good, man? I'm a little junior over here. I just out totaled,
How
everybody but Russ. What's good?"
how compelling you think? Look at Joe is super young,
He's bulking
fresh
up.
in fresh in
That's true.
83s, eating into it. God knows where his top end is, but he's
By
got crazy
August.
potential. By
Yeah.
August, I think
Yeah.
he's
So
he's doing the proper route.
yeah.
I'm interested, but he's gonna have a monster total if he's gonna sway SPD to not take Delaney and not take,
Yeah, he
that you
has
got
to
to be
pop
pretty
off.
convincing.
He has to pop off. Yeah. So I mean, who knows if he could do like a 840, um,
He's got to do more
you
than
know,
that. He's got to beat Delaney
it's just
because
getting competitive. Yeah, yeah, he's got to beat it. It's getting so competitive now. It's I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great for the sport. Um, I don't coach Joe, by the way. He's just like a lifter who, like, I'm just a fan of his lifting. I think he's a good kid. I think he, is very passionate about the sport, and um, that weight class continues to be one to watch. Uh, so I just want to give a quick shout out to his coach ECK Lifts. But yeah, shout out to the boys. It's gonna be good, man. I mean, who knows if Joe could hit like a 650 squat, um, maybe like a 458 bench, and I'm not even sure what he deadlifts, like a 760 deadlift, something like
that's
that.
huge.
He'll be right in there. He'll be right in there. So it's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be juicy. It's gonna be a crazy weight class to watch. And I mean, Worlds and Sheffield are the two most fun things that I go to in the whole year. It is like I don't know how to describe it. Sheffield's like a stressful vacation, and Worlds is like a less stressful vacation.
Dude,
You know
Worlds is
what I
like a
mean?
dream for me. I love them all.
It's so
It's
good. It's so
stressful in
good.
that like the timelines are everything's tight for timelines and all the rest of it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But
man.
I absolutely enjoy myself like crazy for all of those meets. Um, so I
Is there?
and
Go ahead.
and they're all super tight. All these weight classes are getting extremely competitive and tight. Yeah, I wanted to get your impression, also your feedback on what you're thinking about the CBS deal. And
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
yeah, so essentially the first one up is going to be the bench press worlds. Not the greatest first one up, but it is what
Yeah,
it is. Let's be
that
honest.
that worries me a
Bench
little bit.
only.
Yeah.
Bench only. Hopefully people watch it and aren't like, wow, this isn't exactly as action packed as I would have liked. But
Are you commentating that?
I will not, sir. I will
Oh
not, sir.
God. Okay,
I,
okay.
I hope everything
I hope they hold
is
it down. I hope. Hey, man, we need them to be. I need my mom. I'm gonna tell my mom to watch it, and
we
I
need
want
like
I want to know because my mom is like she knows like what lifting is, but like not really. And I just want to be like, "What'd you think, mom?"
well like when I think action packed, I don't think bench. And usually in the three lift, and I think that goes across the board. And when I think about the three lift, usually bench, not always, but usually bench is a bit of a lull in action. Not always. And you can have some battles and some entertainment. But when three lift hits CBS, I think people are going to get their minds blown. And Sheffield itself as an event is packaged so well for all action, all killer, no
Yeah,
filler.
I
Oh
mean
my
that's
gosh.
that's that's like our best show, honestly.
And who knows in the future what starts making its way on what platforms, etc. Right? All different. Like right now, we have World Games in Sheffield. In the future, we might have other events popping up due to the success of like Sheffield's, slightly different
I
variations,
I
etc.
would I would hope that maybe a Gymshark, maybe a Rogue, maybe a I don't know, maybe the IPF, maybe they see a Sheffield and they go like this is the first what's going to be like the next thing. But I also feel like Sheffield was so good that they're all like, yeah, we're not even going to try unless we could even come close to that.
Well,
You know what I mean?
there's also a possibility where you don't necessarily even need another company with eyes, but even if SBD or IPF or whomever says, this worked, let's tweak it a little, have a platform where it's USA versus Europe and it's duels and it's, a level up from Rally, but still below Sheffield. Like Sheffield's always going to be the number one in terms of those. But you might do international field duel matches where it's like US for North America versus Europe. And that would be intriguing to watch because it's often said US could have two different teams worth of people. Well, the rest of the world, or you can even have it so you could fit it in the schedule. Some people go to the Worlds and do this because they're not going to Sheffield. So
The
you would have,
US
what's that? Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just
Well,
gonna say
I
US
was
could
good.
probably take their second place guys and they would like probably also win worlds or get really close.
Like it'll be more difficult. It
It may
depends.
yeah. It would literally be like right there for some classes.
Well, put it this way. Put it this way. Like if you don't take Wasker,
Not for the girls. Not for the girls.
not for the girls. Oh hell no. You might
Oh
not win
no.
worlds. Period. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if you take like 59s, let's go through it. This is a good conversation.
All right.
59s,
Let me pull up my nominations.
50. Well, they're not all there right now,
No, there.
but
59s, yeah.
59s, you have Wasker. If you don't take Wasker, it's a
Is
crapshoot.
Sergey back? Is Sergey back?
If he's back, there's not a chance. Even if Wasker's there, it's 50-50. I take Wasker over Sergey, but if you don't,
Really?
I take Wasker over Sergey because Sergey's 40 and he hasn't competed at the World Championships in a hot minute. And that Wasker's on the rise, young man.
I mean, I just remember him benching like 380, and I was like, yeah, man,
Dude,
this
he's a
is
freak.
dumb. This
No,
is dumb.
listen, he's a freak. But okay, so if you don't take Wasker, you're not winning 59s. 66s, you got it. You got a murderer's row. You're good.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys.
You're pretty fucking good. 74s, good luck beating Shell right now. Dog, you don't take Perk. I think Shell is.
If you don't take
Shell
Perk
or
and we have
Callie
Taylor,
or
it's
Tim
gonna be
you got Shell, Callie, Tim, and
yeah.
Taylor's not going. Taylor's injured, and Taylor's. So
we
you
lose
don't have Perk.
74s. We lose 74s.
Yeah. Because Taylor's
Okay.
out of the mix. 83s. Yeah, you're good because you got Delaney. Yeah, you're good.
We got
And
Delaney.
after Russ, it's Delaney. Britain's got a couple shooters now.
Yeah.
And whatever. But
It'd be a good scrap.
It'd be neck and neck. Delaney's a favorite because like he has been winning without Russ there. So yes, 93s, you're good. We already
we got hella guys.
93s. I mean, doesn't mean you will win.
No, it's not that we will win. We still have a guy who's very capable. It's like if you have a football team, you got another quarterback. He's great.
Yeah.
We still got to compete. But I mean, Gustav looks good right now. Emil looks good right now.
Your chances don't diminish. Put it that way. Petrie, Cayco, whatever, like Gavin, he's not going to make 93s, but Cayco or Petrie, you're good with either. So yes, 105s. You take off Ashton.
See, Mikey will have some trouble with Anatoly. I'm not going to lie. Anatoly, if he hits a consistent 950, that's
Anatoly's a favorite. And then
right now, even right now, even with Ashton. I mean, Ashton has to have a great day.
Ashton's a favorite now. Favorite now. But we're saying in the hypothetical, you don't have your 18.
If 950, if 940, 945, Anatoly shows up, Ashton will need to push.
Yeah. No, he can't be injured and having a shitty day.
He's beaten those numbers, but he has to have a day. He has to have a solid day.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
I think he will. But yeah.
He'd be the favorite. I would definitely pick him. And then 120s. I mean, if Rondell's back, I don't care who you send in. It's gonna be a problem. A, B, C, D, man. Yeah. you might need to gang up on Rondell.
Yeah.
And then 120 pluses, Jesus is the man. But if you don't send in Zeus,
Ray might be able to do something.
Hang on. Timur versus Ray is a compelling matchup.
It is. Ray, do you know what he totaled this last meet?
Let's pull this up. Because Timur is over 10 years younger and did 1063.
He did 2287. What is that?
He did 1037.5. Nah, Timur's ahead of him by 30 kilos and he's 15 years younger. Put it this way. US US isn't going to win if they send their B team. They'll win some here and there, but they're not sweeping. However,
Would they win for like the most points of a country though?
That's gonna be difficult. Then we got to go all over again. We're not doing that.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah, talk. This will be a 4-hour podcast of spreadsheets.
Yeah.
We're like, what do you got? What do you got? They might win. To your point, they might. They might have enough. Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. They won't sweep. They won't win every weight class, but they might win.
We'll get some points.
Yeah, you might be number one. But doubling back, if SBD starts making international dual matches, not Sheffield, but just a rank below, where it's USA, maybe North America versus Europe or the rest of the world, and you have, because how many people are at Worlds and you have world champions who might not make it to Sheffield. So you'll have.
So what do we call this?
Matchups.
What do we call this? What do we call this tournament?
It might be the dual matchups. It might be I don't know, North America versus Europe, or maybe the world, because you want to throw Asia in there because Asia might have some sprinklings in there that it's like, hey, let me raise my hand. I'm not sure, but I like the international feel of Sheffield, and I know the IPF likes international feel. I would not be opposed to this idea.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many ways. There's so many ways that you could do it, and I'm sure somebody will put something together, some sort of compelling idea, and do it down the road coming up. But I mean, honestly, this World's coming up. We just need to handle business. We need to get these guys into Sheffield, and then from there, here's the thing. Let's do this. Of the people that are going to Worlds, who do you think is like most likely to get into Sheffield from the US? So for example, that means they're going to win at Worlds and then like they're going to Sheffield. Yeah. I don't know how SBD is going to do their wild cards this time, because it's going to be harder. Like there's going to be so many compelling like ways to do it.
To an extent, they probably don't either. You almost got to see what storylines unfold at Worlds, right?
I think Ashton, Bob, Russ, Jesus,
Perk,
Amanda, Perk. What are we missing? The smaller weight classes, you would know better than me.
Well, Natalie Richards. Natalie is in a firefight.
Well, Jade. I met her after. What were we doing? I don't know. We had like a dinner.
Terrible?
She's so little. I was like, what? She looks like just like a normal girl, and I'm like, where's this power coming from? Like she's just so little. And
well, she's under 5 feet tall, but do not call her short. And,
I
know you did. I know
she's
you
actually
did.
A hulking jacked beast. No, but But yeah, so her and Natalie, that'll be good. So I mean, I think they bring them both. Honestly, me personally, if it's that close, bro, just bring them both. Like they're
1-1 now. So they're gonna. Yeah. And here's Jade has become the world champion slayer at Sheffield. At Worlds, she lost to Joy Namani just last deadlift. Just got revenge at Sheffield. At Worlds again, she lost to Natalie Richards. Controversial. Got revenge at Sheffield. Let's see what happens.
The super heavyweight women. Oh man, I think you gotta go that 3-way. We'll see what Alexis Jones does. But I mean, Canada's looking really good right now.
Brittany Schlatter, she did what she did back-to-back Worlds in Sheffield, and finishing off 7-10. She's getting better and better. But Alexis Jones is an absolute monster.
If she has a day, it's gonna be tough. Yeah.
She did 7:21.
If I can get Sunita to hold what her true power is on that third pole, all of them, right? Sunita's gonna squat 700 one day. Maybe crazy. We don't even need to. Maybe we just get the 20 keys from the squat, and then that'll put us in there. That'll get us that 730. So I don't know, dude. It's getting so nuts right now. It's so crazy with Sonita's strength on squat because she's starting to experience some of the aches and pains that I would. Just with the elbow and the bars bending, and you're dealing with all these, you know what I mean? And it's like the calf and the whole, like it's just like a lot. So that's gonna be super compelling. What do we got? Obviously, Amanda, 76s. You go Akita Carlina, right? Like that's
But well, here's the thing. It kind of depends what happens at Worlds. That intriguing matchup at Worlds is going to be phenomenal, and I'm super excited to see it.
you think
Everyone's
someone
super.
gets blown out? I don't think
It's
someone gets blown out.
no, I don't think so. I think even when Agatha puts on, here's when people put on body weight, their totals don't always shoot up like they think it will. You know what I mean? It might shoot up a little bit. It doesn't always influx like people think it will. Sometimes, but sometimes it goes up marginally and not like you might hope. I don't know if Agatha is more efficient
I think she's
as a
better at
69.
69. I think she's better. I think honestly, like, dude, she didn't even care about chipping the world record. She was like, I'm blowing this out of the water. You girls ain't never winning this again. Like she just like seriously, that was so like when you because we're in it, right? You and I, like, we're in the sport, like nerds
Yeah.
like that, like Pete and those guys. We're looking at this and we're just like, bro, she didn't chip them. She said, "I'm dominating this weight class, and then I'm gonna leave, have fun, never beating my total." Like she is. And that's not to doubt them that they're not gonna beat it. But how old is she? 20?
She's a kid.
I might
She's
as well
20.
just. I'm
She's
gonna walk
20.
out. I'm just
She's
gonna
20
leave.
years old, man. She's a monster.
Like,
She did 600. I'm intrigued at what she does at 76. Um, she did 599.5 at Arnold UK as a 76, but she obviously isn't putting her foot on the gas. She was 5 weeks after Sheffield.
yeah.
So she replicated 600 with relative ease. And Carlina's done 610. Dude, I think it's a close battle. I am not looking past
So
Carlina
you
because
don't think? No, no. I mean, if you look at the progression of Agatha and Carlina, obviously Agatha's like right now.
yeah,
She's hitting the
right,
like. She's
sure.
getting her woman strength.
Carlina's like
Um,
14 years older as well, or 10 years or something. I mean, look at and Carlina's done her damn thing and it's battle tested. She ain't gonna be afraid. What I love about Carlina, you meet her off the platform, super nice, super soft
yeah.
spoken. You on the platform,
I'm a big fan of Carlina. She she's
she's a
she
monster. She
she
she ain't
handles
going.
business.
I loved her reply when Agatha's like, "I'm going 76." Carlina posted up in the stories, "Come and get some." Come and get it.
Yeah,
I
that's how you
welcome you.
have to
I
be.
welcome
I
you.
think that might push Carlina. Maybe all these years because of Sheffield, Carlina was just chilling, and she was like, I could just slow roll this thing. Let's keep getting paid. No reason to send it. Maybe she was sending it. I don't know. But
Nah,
now that
she
she
was
has
sending it.
somebody
She was
there,
sending it.
she's
Yeah, she was
maybe
sending it.
she.
But
But if she hits a six, if she hits like a 620, and like I said, by Sheffield, this is all like I think if Agatha chips her and somehow and beats Carlina, I think they would still take Carlina because like you got to run that back.
that's what
You
I
got to
was
run
gonna
that back.
say is
Yeah.
if as long as it's relatively close and Carlina keeps it interesting, even if Carlina loses, they're probably gonna run it back. And if Agatha moves up and Agatha loses, she won last year. They're probably gonna bring her back. So the
Yeah.
chances of 276s coming back, I think, is relatively high due to that. Because how do you
It's
have
gonna be
another? How do you not bring Agatha back, even if Agatha somehow loses?
now for the 93s. I don't know why they've done this in the past, but they bring like four every year. Like
I'll tell you why. Because they're so competitive and good.
so, I
Anyone
think
can win.
this year.
Anyone can win.
Okay, so you have Gustav, Petrie, and Emil. One of them is gonna probably win, right? Like one of them. So you're
Right.
taking one of them for sure. I
Right.
guess you just bring the other two because
That's
fuck
right.
it.
Here's the
And
thing.
then
Think about this. What if a mill wins? Let's say a mill wins. You think they don't bring Petrie and
no,
Gustav?
you have to
Very
bring
difficult.
Gustav at least to
At
bring
least Gustav.
if Petrie shows like a good total at Worlds, yeah, you bring him too. Um, but do you bring Gavin or Cayco?
It's less likely to me And again, we got to see what happens on Worlds only because we've already seen them both twice over had it at Sheffield, and neither one of them are going to be at Worlds. So the likelihood is we have fresh blood at Worlds, intriguing, super close at Worlds. Let's
Or
have
do
them
you
all run
or
it
do
back.
you or do you not take either of them and just go with, honestly, I think it's just gonna be like who has the most compelling total, right? So if like Emil, Gustav, and Petri are all within 5 keys of each other, you got to take them all. Like what
But
the
here,
heck,
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what I would say. If one
Mhm.
of them shits the bed, they're out. And if Cayco or Gavin pops up at some other event and murders over 900 kilos, they might be in. That's what a series. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
out of the
yeah.
question, but
If
a
you
series
screw
of
up,
events has.
yeah.
Yeah, a series of events has to happen. One of the 93s at Worlds gets injured and just doesn't show, and Cayco and Gavin blow up some other meet, another SBD meet or a national team like North Americans, and literally takes the world record.
Hey. I could almost guarantee right now. I'm gonna go ahead and call Cayco after this. Now you got me thinking. If we do NAPFs in the same time zone that we haven't competed in for years,
Dude,
Cayco's fucking up 900 something. I'm telling
fuck.
you right now, bro. It's right
Well,
here. And then I'm gonna call AOSBD. I got a 9075
yeah,
93 right now.
exactly.
You go ahead and have fun with your little world. You know what I mean?
If
So
900 wins worlds and he does 907, exactly. It really helps. You know what would be insane is if both Gavin and Cayco end up at North
oh
Americans, and that
my
would be Cayco would be like you
oh
again,
my god.
you a fuck
Yeah.
again. Well, I
Yeah, he
can't get
would.
away from you.
Yeah,
Everywhere I turn, you're by my side. You know what
he
I'm saying?
would. He would. Gavin's gonna do that now. He's gonna hear
Well,
this and
I
be
mean,
like,
the
"Oh
thing is,
shit, let me go ahead and hit that up."
Gavin
It's
needs to come
smart.
back. Yeah, I mean, he has. Both of them are thinking the
Or
same thing.
or I don't know. I would actually be interested to see what a 105 Gavin would do, but he would be a
Nah, he's not.
very
Nah, he's too.
dense fellow.
Yeah, very
That
dense.
would
Yeah,
be a brick of a human.
dog. He'd be a brick. He would be
Uh,
a
the,
house. He would be a stack. It's 105 is ridiculous.
he would
He can
step
make
on the
93.
platform and the weights would evaporate.
Dude, he would step on the platform and he'd be such a large body of mass, the weights would start hovering around him, like orbiting around his
But
torso.
what it but I mean, like you said, like he would have to see if his pull um got significantly better or worse if he were to actually put the weight on. Or
He,
if it
he ain't
yeah,
going
I mean
105.
just
He ain't going 105. I
okay,
promise you.
yeah.
So I know for fact he's going to 93. And in the background, he's tidying up his cut to 93, and adjustments are being made, and he's going to go 93. So the big question is going to be, where does Gavin and Cayco pop up? Will they pop up at the same meet and battle all over again? I know Cayco's got battle fatigue and probably won't be like, oh, great, Gavin again. But for a fan, just to know that these guys are going to battle again will be extremely entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I mean that'd be super super dope.
And North Americans needs battles like this, by the way. If they send 293s,
It
North
would be
Americans needs a battle. North Americans needs it.
no, that would be nuts. That would be nuts. It would give views. That would literally
Yes, it would get you.
I just
Robert
don't know
Keller would
if
be like, please. Robert Keller would be, please, both of you come to
Robert
North
Keller's
American.
gonna listen to this right now and he's gonna
I'm
hit us
gonna,
both
dog.
up.
I will call him and be like, my man. Guess what might happen for you?
Yeah, it just depends. We gotta see like, how Keiko's doing his recovery and stuff, but there's so many matchups. There's so many good things happening, bro. We have this guy Demetrius in the
Yeah,
USA
yeah.
PL who like doubled like 8 something in the gym the other day or like a couple months ago. He's 90. He's shredded. He's light. You know, and he's like we got him coming over next year, I believe. Um, we have people like that are in the works. It's just, I actually know this. Um, my brother with Austin, they're gonna try to do something like that where they go to NAPFs or Junior Worlds and they hit a crazy total and they say, "Hey SBD, what's good? We out totaled your open and we're right there, right?"
And
So
this is good for like in terms of Sheffield and SVD, what they're doing. they're actually throwing significance onto Euros and North Americans
Yes,
by
because and that is
and
something that has
Commonwealths,
we have not had that before.
right? And it's actually helping these regional events. And I think the
That's a great
IPF,
point. I
yeah,
hope the overlords realize this.
and like look at Carlina. The reason why she went to the first Sheffield is because she broke the world record at the Commonwealth Championships. Like these regional events are getting a bump because SBD first they target worlds, and then they start working down like how do we hand out our wild cards. They're
Yeah,
probably still going to look at world's performances, but if you blow up a world record at a regional and force their hand, because it's all based on world records, so it
yeah,
gets
man.
very difficult. Carlina forced her hand because it's like how you can have a battle of the 60s or the 76s and not have based on world records, but not have the world record holder there. It's
Yeah,
an opportunity.
it's getting good, man. I don't think it's ever been this deep. Now I'm thinking about what would happen if we had like John Haack and Jesse Norris and all that, but God, that's the last generation.
Listen, I also want to talk to you about how much I was telling you before, but how much every single other power lifter with ambitions of going to Sheffield, when you're at the World Championships in Lithuania, you better bring your credit card and start buying Shell some meals and drinks because my man just cut into Perk's world record by 25 kilos in 3 months. 25 kilos. Me and Awaska are actually joking around how when Russ sees Shell, he'll be like, "Hey, welcome back, King. What do you
Yeah, I'm
because
gonna
dude,
let's do the math. What is
25
it at right
kilos.
now? Do you know what it's
So
at right now?
coming into the end of 2023, the 74 kilo total was 790. Exiting the first quarter,
790. Got it.
790. Exiting the first quarter of 2024, Shell single-handedly bumped it to 815. 25 kilos.
A
And that's
five a 5% bump on from A15 is A55. So if we keep it at A43, let's say perfect world, right? Let's see what 105 is on top of that. We gotta hit an 885, which Russ has done a weight
well,
class up.
hang on a second. Hang on a second. I'm talking to Shell. At Worlds, Shell said it is entirely conceivable I go 825, 830. And it is. He put on 25 kilos on his total in 4 months, by the way. So he's not talking crazy. If he goes 825, Joey, it still bumps the world record up for
Can
Sheffield.
Perk hit a 870? Getting up there, getting up
Now we're
there.
starting to talk. If
Yeah,
Shell shows out at Worlds, Perk is the favorite. But
830.
like
Yeah,
the rest of the powerlifting community, and put it this way, when you're SBD, when you're powerlifting community in general, you don't want to walk into a competition and you already know who's going to win.
yeah.
That's never a good thing. You want it to be, I don't know who's going to win. Oh my God, I have to tune in to see. That's with every single sport, period. Which I know this is added pressure on Perk, and Perk's like, hey, Shell, take a freaking nap, man.
Chill out, homie.
Relax.
Yeah.
Spend time with your family, Playboy. What are you doing right now? But and Shell is just enjoying his, second wind, fourth wind, whatever he's
He's
on.
just chilling. Yeah.
But the rest of the world, oh Shell, the rest of powerlifting world, oh Shell, thank you, because he's made Sheffield single-handedly far more competitive. And by the time Lithuania is over, Joey, he might have done it again by another 10, 15 kilos. And now all of a sudden, Perk is at least human at Sheffield.
You know what's crazy is if he does do 830, that's
It's
gonna put,
open.
and we need to, and he'll have to go like somewhere around like 104%, like 860. Yeah, but then what does I did the math, and if Rondell comes back, it's over, right? Because it's that he's gonna. I mean that discrepancy in that weight class
Well, hang
is
on a
so.
second. Hang on a second.
If
Bobby
Bob
Boy
pushes
said
it to eight,
Bob said
if
he wants 1,000 kilos.
I would
Bob
love that. Please,
and
please, Bob, please.
we
Yes,
asked
let's
Bob.
go.
So here's another thing. On that same interview,
That'd be
we
so
asked
good.
Bob. We asked Bob, "Are you going to hold back, win, but hold back for Sheffield?" He said, "Absolutely not. If I got 1,000 kilos on me, I'm doing 1,000 kilos at Worlds. I ain't holding back for Sheffield." Tony Cliff also was like, "Hey, 1,000 kilos, let's go."
The
I'll
problem
tell you what,
is
neither one of them are holding back.
the problem is if he does 1,000 and Bob has done and Rondell's done 1,040 something and he does like he wins with 1,050 easy. It's gonna be tough. It's
No,
gonna be
but
tough.
But well, this is the only scenario Rondell comes to Sheffield.
2 years though, 2 years, right?
He
Or like,
probably, if he ever made it for the next Sheffield, it would be politics get shoved aside. He ends up blowing up a regional event, making a world record official, and then he gets wild carded. A series of things have to happen. I'm not saying it's off the table. I would love it to, but just looking at this Sheffield, he's a question mark. But anyways, we got some. This is actually going to be a very competitive Sheffield, almost all due to one man who's handicapping Perk single-handedly. His second coming has made Sheffield
I
infinitely
mean,
more
I'm gonna
attractive
have
and
to
interesting.
push these boys to a level like I need a perfect 9 for 9 from Jesus. I need a perfect 9 for 9 from Russ. I need to
They could do
max
it
them
though.
out. I don't know if Cayco's gonna get in there. Um, you know, who do I got
Jesus,
for the girls?
Jesus not bumping up the world record at the last Sheffield actually helps him for
Yeah,
this one.
it does. I don't know if I would ever do this, but I have considered. Hey guys, we'll go ahead and we'll take the 20K for the records, right? We'll chip some records, but for the overall, we're gonna keep it chill this year because we ain't fucking with that guy, and then next year we're fucking taking it, baby. Like,
I don't know because next year's never promised.
exactly, and it's getting harder and harder. And one of my girls might be like, "Oh, I'm having a baby," and I'm like, "Oh shit, there's that gone." Like anything can happen. You never know what can happen with the lifter and like what they got going on in their life, but it is it is something that I think about, and I just hope that you know,
Let me give you this. Timur Simkaradze, the 120 plus from Georgia, put on 60 some odd kilos onto his total in a year. And we're just getting started in 2024. He's not a guy that you would want to. I mean, he's a super heavyweight, so 60
yeah, yeah,
kilos
yeah,
is
yeah, anything
60
could happen.
kilos is yeah. In next year, if Jesus is like this Sheffield, I don't worry about it. He might be deep into the 1100s by the following worlds. It's just not
I
something you
think
can.
what Timur's advantage is that he has a very clean um deadlift. He has a very clean deadlift, so he can count on that. You know
And
what
he's
I mean?
pulling 401. Like he's at 22. He'll be. Look, you give
What
him.
did he? What did he? What the miss on squat? What was the reason?
I'd have to double check now. I can't remember now. I saw it at the time. I'll double check. But if he got those 15 kilos, he's like put up like 80 kilos in the year on his total. Like because he's a junior, man. He remember Jesus when he caught his stride and all of a sudden things started clicking. He's
Yeah,
doing that right now. He's doing that right now. So he's a few years back from Jesus. Jesus is he's not there yet, but in a couple years, it'll be an honest battle. It's good.
Stress,
It's
stress, man, stress. I
it's
just
good.
can't. I just can't. I mean, this is what we want, right? This is what we
Yeah,
want,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it is.
It's stressful. Dog, you think we're stressed. You know Perk is I want to know.
Nah,
I
I think
gotta
Perk's chilling. I think Perk has
he's
clean
chilling, but
execution.
you
I
know
think
when
he
he
has.
sees Shelly, he's like, how you feeling today, King? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think he's chilling though. I think the pressure's on everybody else,
Yeah, for sure. He's
and
still
I
the
think
favorite. He's still the favorite. Even if Shell does 830, Perk is still the favorite. It's just a much more reasonable favorite in odds for everyone else.
yeah, it's gonna be. Fuck, man, I'm excited. I'm really excited for Worlds. I'm waiting to. I need to ask Matt Gary like I need to book my stuff. Like, when are we? But I think they're waiting on everybody to do all their paperwork first, which should be done by Monday, and then we should have some like time frames because we got to book our hotels and things. But I'm excited, man. I'm ready to be over there. Have you ever been to Lithuania?
I have not. One more thing I want to talk to you about. This is
Yes, sir.
public. This is public.
No
We
worries, no
talked about
worries.
private, but Eddie Berglund missed bench worlds because the Swedish team didn't get his nomination in on time. And I was telling you offline, my friends, that's where a guy like Matt Gary, who runs a tight ship but a fair ship, and it's a tight ship. Matt Gary, you have never in your life taken a guy who takes coaching as serious as Matt Gary.
My man, you telling the people, you telling me. I don't know if you remember, but there was this one year, 2016, where me and the
Oh
little
Lord,
guy known as John Haack had to
never heard
team
of
up
him.
with Matt Gary and handle business, brother.
Yes,
So
sir.
I know what it's like.
Yes, sir. And and the sport was relatively in its infancy, so we've grown since then
Yeah,
with everything. So now everyone's more prepared for what they're coming into. But Matt Gary under his watch, things like that will never happen. And that's
yeah,
why he is super strict with like timelines, attempt
yeah.
selection. He wants videos, he wants interviews with the private coaches, like the personal coaches, athletes. However, nothing is going to fall. You won't see fumbling of the balls by Team USA in terms of nominations, deadlines,
I'm gonna.
misinformation,
I get to.
anything like that.
I'm gonna be honest. At this meet, we're gonna go over the plan and we're gonna be on the same page and go over numbers and everything, right? But I'm gonna try to be more of a yo, they know what I want. We'll talk about it together in the moment and stuff like that. Um, but I don't need to run over to the jury. I don't
Yeah,
need to. There's going to be a lot of things that are lifted, off of my shoulders now that I have like have them helping, which is good. So it'll be. I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm confident. I know these lifters a long time. Like there's no. It's not like in the early days when I was like, oh snap, I'm going into worlds. Like 8 years ago. It's like, all right, baby, let's go in. Let's handle business. Let's have fun with this team. Let's see what we got. I'm trying to think like my we know what we're trying to do with Russ. Yeah, like he knows that we're not supposed to push the total like we want to push it as much as we have to get to Sheffield. We don't
yeah.
want to like fuck if we hit 860, we're screwed. We are screwed.
You're in
Like we
trouble.
we just ruined
Well,
ourselves.
we say that, but on the flip side, you get to Sheffield and everyone you expect to show up and show out. Remember going to the first Sheffield, everyone thought Taylor's going to murder everybody. People get
Hey,
injured.
I was literally going into that thinking I'm gonna push my boys as hard as I can, but if Taylor has the 840 day, that's it.
We're all dead. And people show up, people get injured, things happen. It's sports. It's sports. It's the
Anything
reason
can
why.
happen, man.
That's
Look
right.
at what happened with Cali, man. We didn't know we were gonna beat him. We just said, "Hey, we're gonna show up and we're gonna compete." And I actually think that if Taylor wasn't there and Tim was just kind of like going against himself, he might have pushed a little more. Um, or maybe he was in that strength discovery mode, so he wasn't really sure where his top end was. But like I think I think Tim well, one, I don't think he was at his best, but two, I think he had more on squat. And I think, we just Cali probably had a little bit more on deadlift, but it would have been close, right? And I knew coming into the Sheffield after when they were going to rematch, I was like, Tim is probably like just a little bit ahead of us. Although we did put kilos, we put like 28 pounds on Cali's total, but it wasn't enough because um, Tim was able to do his full potential like at that meet. But it's all good. He's a junior. He was able to get that title. It's gonna be good, man. I don't know. See, right now we're sitting down, we're talking about what we think is gonna happen at Worlds. We gotta look at it after and be like, holy shit, nobody saw that coming, or
Right.
hopefully nothing bad happens, right? But it's gonna be I am interested to see if Russ has to hit depth. He has hit it every Worlds. And I've gone over and worlds like we're just on point. I don't know. Like we're just like there's no problems. Like we know that it's world, so we're gonna like hit it, right? But other lifters have to do that too. Everybody's gonna have to do it. And it's gonna be I think we're gonna see overly deep squats. I think we might see that and that might take some pounds off the totals. But we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be good. I do want to say that. Russ, I believe at all his worlds, has never missed a squat. I could actually tell you, I could actually pull that up. So when people say that about Russ, if there's a meet that he doesn't miss, it's that one.
He's gonna be a tough guy to beat for anybody at Worlds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
What do you think about this? I do want to ask you. What do you think about this possible new rivalry between Perk and Russ. Is this going to light a flame under Russ? I'm going to have Russ on soon. Does it light a flame under Russ, or is it too in a distance where Russ is like, because we're not going to go head to head at Worlds, and I'm just going to try to win without pushing the
Nah,
record.
we can't let a 74 out total us, man. And Perk is definitely keeping us like, oh shit, we gotta stay on it. But the other 83s are kind of doing that a little bit too. I think I think Perk maxed out. I need to go back and watch that meet he did at Nationals. I think he could do like 860, 865, perfect meet, everything stars aligned. I think you never know. I don't even know if he cuts weight. I really don't know if he cuts weight. But I do remember this happened with Taylor in like 2019 or something like that. Taylor hit like a 790 and we were only at like a we were like barely ahead or like the same. And everybody was talking about that back then and that never materialized. But
Same with 2021, 838.
I think I mean I respect what Perk is doing. I've actually what's weird about this, Ryan? We've been around a long time, right? And I've seen coaches and I've seen lifters evolve. I remember them in their infancy stages. I remember them when they weren't confident. I remember them when they were, different. I remember them when they were trying to find their way. I remember when they had bad execution. I remember when they sucked calling attempts. I remember all these things. So I've seen over the years as there's been more education put out, as more people do collaborations with each other, um, as people watch others, they start to learn how things are. They start to come into their own. They start to catch their stride. So I see, like, I don't know if people watching now know Perk from back then. So I've seen the growth. I've seen the change. I've seen, how he was back then. I saw him go through surgery. We saw him come back. And and you can't be at my level, at his level, at, you know, the the other guy's level. Like, you can't be at that level and been around this long and not have respect for that. Everybody goes through some shit. I remember when Ashton in 2016 was like squatting 640, having depth troubles, and then he went with us to go eat afterwards with Jesse. Like, I remember these early days of these lifters. So all these guys, when people say, "Oh, the rivalry with Russ and Perkins," I think one, it's good for the sport. I think two, it is. I mean, it shows how amazing Perkins is, right? It shows. I mean, Russ obviously, like, to hit 860 with all the things wrong that we had that were wrong, that's still a crazy total that nobody was even thinking about like years ago, right?
Well, for sure.
Um, so they're both incredible athletes at the top of their game, and I think all this is gonna do is just get more out of both of them, and it's just gonna push things even harder and harder and harder and harder. And I know people like want drama, but like it was like good vibes at PA Nets. Like
It's
I
not drama.
that Perkins,
No,
yeah,
let me be honest. Perk and Russ are fine in terms of that. Like, I
yeah,
just mean in terms of two teams, like if it's sports, football, basketball, whatever, two teams flip a coin. I don't know who's going to win. And what's exciting is because Perkins is a once in a lifetime athlete, right? In
yeah.
the 74s, he's doing things we never thought a 74 would ever be able to do. We thought Taylor was doing things like that. Now Perk is doing that with 7 attempts. It's insane. And then with Russ, you have one of the biggest stars in the sport who's been the number 183 since 2019. That's in powerlifting. You don't get 5-year runs.
Hey, and I want to say it was like this. It was like, oh shit, people are getting kind of close. Oh, okay, we're kind. No, fuck, people are getting close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're on top, but it's like they're getting close to us. Like they're getting close, but then we kind of like we have that off season, and maybe Cayco will do that. Maybe Cayco will have that off season, be like, let me recalibrate. Boom, 920 is my base now. I don't care. You know what I'm
But yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like
But let's
like
stay on Perk and Russ for 1 second.
yeah,
So with that, I think they will both push each other, and I 100% think this is a rivalry the sports needs. With you take Russ's star power and longevity in a sport that does not see longevity, so he's
yeah.
unique, and then you see, and he bridges us to the past, and then you take Perk's youthful dominance that is pound for pound unmatched, where he might be the pound for pound king. This is the showdown other sports dream of.
I
And
think Do you remember when Khabib beat Connor and then it made Khabib?
Yeah, 100%.
I think if I think Perkins respects Russ as a competitor too, and I think that um he has to appreciate anybody in the trenches. Like I said, they appreciate each other. They're gonna feed off of each other and they're gonna keep pushing each other. And I think it's good for the sport. But I think if anything, it's like respect. You know what I mean? I think Perkins hit exactly what we think is gonna happen with Austin Perkins. Is once you hit that, because Perkins is what 24, 25,
No, let me double check now. I feel like
because
he's older than he's been around forever, but he's young. Let me pull this up because he's been around.
because you
Is he
hit that
only
age.
24? He's 24. Frick.
Yes,
He's a 10-year
exactly.
veteran. It's like, how are you still
I'm telling
24?
you, guys, like men between like 22 and 24, 21 to 24, they get like a spurt and they get like their bones are kind of like solidified and now they're starting to fill out their muscle and like Perkins is like experiencing that right now and um I think he's going to keep pushing, man. I think he could be one of the best 74s. We do have to say to Taylor, thank you for putting eyes on that weight class. Thank you for building up that weight class to be what it is. Thank you for the legacy that you've created for the 74s. Because without Taylor, what were the 74s the last decade, right? The
Yeah, for
last 8
sure.
years, whatever. So shout out to Taylor there. Generations happen, things happen. The torch has to be passed. 838 Taylor, you don't have shit to prove. You come to Sheffield anyway, you run the comment, you do the media stuff, whatever you got to do, we'll still see you there. Or you come back and you put up whatever you got to put up. Um Perkins, I think he's going to run far with it. I think he's being smart about Sheffield. I think Sheffield is like where we're going to see like everybody's work, right? Like we all bank our gains and we save it up and then we spend it all at Sheffield, right?
So
Because that's what we do.
are you thinking though, Russ will not allow, like, because Perkins will finish before Russ gets there at Worlds, before Russell competes. Do you think Russ not only wants to beat the 83s, but he wants to out total Perk at Worlds?
I honestly, I would be a little bit surprised if he was thinking about that. I think he's gonna be like, no, I need. I get a sense that Russ really wants to do Sheffield. I don't know if you do, but I do,
Oh yeah,
and I think he is so like, hey man, that's good for you. We'll handle that in January, but I need to beat these guys and make sure
yeah,
that I
yeah, yeah.
get there,
That's the
right?
best way to look at. I know people
Yeah.
will talk shit like Perk out totaled you, but I know in Russ's back of his mind, he's like, I wasn't worrying about him. I need to win without blowing it up because I have an opportunity, especially if Shell does something crazy at Worlds. If the other guys do like 820 something at Worlds, which is great total, then Russ can not break the world record, still win,
I
and
mean,
he might actually he's got an opportunity.
Perk might total less at Worlds on purpose than he did at Nationals.
Yeah, for sure. As long as
He could,
Shell doesn't, it's dangerous because Shell might be around 830. But if he's 835 and wins with 835,
nah, he could do like a whatever. Who pulls more? Perkins, right? A little bit more.
Perk, but Shell's got a big pull. But
Just wait
he
till the
should be,
end.
yeah,
Flip it.
he should be able to cruise. Yeah, he'll be okay. He could win with 835. I don't think Shell's going 835. I think top end Shell is 830. So Perk won't
Shell's
break the
gonna
world
hear that
record.
and make sure he hits 835 now.
But like I don't think Shell goes over that, but he'll up the world record again to 830, which is a pain
Yeah.
for Perk. But I think if Russ cannot have to extend the world record at Worlds, then Russ's, I don't know, man. It's not over.
Yeah.
He might. It's Sheffield that we're gonna see really Perk versus Russ, and then the rematch at World Games.
Hold up.
And
I don't see if Bob only needs like a 965 to win, 970, but he could do 1,000.
yeah,
I don't see him not doing. I don't see him not just like, bro. I don't even need. I'll beat you with 7 lifts and then save it for the big one. If Bob wants to push it. I mean,
He
what would be
might,
the point of doing Sheffield then? What would be the point?
no, no,
Unless you hit the 1,000 and then bulk and then hit the 1,050. I mean,
he
Rondell would be
might,
pissed at you.
he might, if he's got 1,000 in him,
You see what I'm
and he,
saying?
if he wins with 960 something, and
He's
he's got
set. He just has to chill.
then he could go to Sheffield. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't. And
I
then it
don't
might be
know,
better to
man.
go
It's a
120, and
lot of
maybe
money.
he's a threat too.
I feel like he's gonna be like, nah. Let me secure this bag real quick.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
This is. Yeah, you know what? Everyone can say what they want until the opportunity's in front of them, and then they really think about it, and then you
Now,
gotta make
I mean,
decisions.
now if he does it, like if he just says like, if he just says like, nah, fuck that. I'm hitting the 1,000. Respect. That'll be dope. I don't know how many 120 did Dennis ever hit that?
Dennis is 978.5.
There you go, bro. If you got total Dennis, that's like legendary status right there.
Right.
Um, Dennis, the OG goat. Which would he come back for NAPF?
He's coming back for, I think, Worlds Masters.
Oh, we'll see
The
what
goat,
happens.
the goat returns.
We'll see what happens. It's so crazy because whatever we thought was insane back then, like guys are hitting it now.
It's all that'd be Rondell's openers.
Yeah,
Rondell is, with all due respect, he's the hidden goat, and I want Rondell back, and
he
I
is a
will not rest.
solid boy.
I will continue to push and advocate for that young man until we get him back.
Of course, man. I mean, bro, I'd love to see Keenan in the mix somehow.
Yeah, well, he's got to cross over. Can't he be an American citizen and come
Bro,
to
we got to
American
figure
national?
it out. We got to figure it out,
But he's a
man.
tweener though. He's an in-betweener. He's not a 105 and he's too small for 120, right? Unless he wants to battle Bob and Big
I
Dev.
think he could do 105. I think he could do 105.
Oh, really? I thought he was a solid 110, but maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. Maybe you're right.
That's the easy cut. That's the easy cut.
You're right. Okay.
But he's gotta recover from that hernia surgery first. But hey, man, it's getting really good. I'm kind of happy with where things are going. I just This year is gonna be very interesting, and I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but after the last Sheffield, yes, I got two boys on the podium. But because Jesus is like our guy, that's our super heavyweight, right? He's also one of the leaders of this team. And I was not content with that performance. And me and him are every day like just fixing small things, fixing small things, fixing small things. And Sheffield is like, yeah, we got to do worlds. Yeah, we got to do nationals. But Sheffield is the one where we're like, okay, this is where we sort of like, you know, when you're in the gym and you're training and you make a lot of gym progress, but you haven't competed yet, so it's not real. It's almost like that. It's almost like you're making progress and you're moving in the right direction. But until you get to Sheffield and you could bank it, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I do think there is something to be said. For example, Cayco's the world champ. And I'll be a little bit surprised if nobody goes over his total, but he's the world champ. And
He is.
Even though Sheffield is Sheffield, he's a world champ. And I will say that Malta was very tough judging. It was very, very tough. If I saw a 2-1, I was like, oh, they're taking it. They're gonna take it back. You know, it was literally. I just felt it. I just felt it. So, you know, that is a thing too.
Yeah, we'll see, my man. Listen, I appreciate you coming on the podcast, giving
Yep.
us your thoughts on PA Nats, a look ahead at Worlds, a look ahead at Sheffield. I'm gonna see you in 3 short
10
months in
weeks,
Lithuania,
something like
man.
that. Yeah.
We're gonna see
Wait,
each other in June, man.
hold on. What day are you getting there?
What day am I getting there? I'm the day before. I do not play around. I don't have the vacation days. A day before I'm there.
Yeah, I think it's like 11 weeks from now or something like that. But I got it Cali early, so I'll be there early. But yeah, man, I just want to say to everybody that supported myself, the team, Russ, everybody, I really appreciate you guys over the years. I think it's important to take a minute every year or every couple years and just look at where you're at in the universe, look at where you came from, and me personally, I'm just thankful to be here. and I'm excited for the future. I want to keep helping these kids reach their potential, and I can't wait for I can't wait till one day. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one day Sheffield's in like a huge. Maybe it's in London. Maybe it's in I don't know. And like, the pot is just insane. And I'm just really the money pot. I don't know what kind of pot you guys were thinking about. All right, but yeah, I'm just excited to keep growing this thing. And my mood towards the future has in the last like 3 years has improved a lot. And you know I'm just happy to be here. That's it.
We started the podcast talking about look how far we've come in the last 8 years. In 8 years, when we talk again, God knows,
Shit, man. We're gonna look the same, by the way. I'll have more jawline action going,
man.
but we're not aging. We're
Thank
not
you,
aging.
sir. That's right. Well said. All right, my man. We'll talk in the DMs,
Alrighty.
I'm sure.
Yep, yep.
And for everyone listening, please do subscribe. Give us high ratings. Until next time, six pack Lapadat. Six up. And we are out.